tinfoil hat.
Oh, what you guys even talking about?
Global controls will have to be imposed, and a world governing body will be created to enforce them.
Welcome to Tinfoil Hat. We go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Are you ready to get your mind blown?
Revolution will be podcasted.
All right, welcome to Tinfoil Hat, live from the Wise Wolf Gold and Silver Studio. Go to samtripoli.gold, get the promo code Tinfoil. You too can get an Impression Mouse game for as little as $50 a month. We got a banger for you today. Very excited. I am blessed to do a premium content show with them. That's called Whatever This Is, and you know they've both been on the show separately. They come together. This is like peanut butter and jelly of podcasting. Very excited. Please welcome Austin, Wade, Picard, and my good friend Brad Binkley. And you're my good friend too. I don't know why I said that before one and the other, but
Thank you,
both
brother.
my good friends, Brad Binkley and Austin, Wade, Picard. Boys, how are you?
Good. It's good to be doing a show in the daylight hours with you guys. For me,
Oh, poor
For real,
Brad
though.
has to do all-nighters to do the show. I'm super sorry. We need to do it earlier. But, all right, real quick, let's start with Brad. Brad, for those who aren't familiar with you on your last couple of appearances, tell us a little bit about yourself, where our listeners can find you.
I host a propaganda report on any podcast listening app. At Freedom Act Radio on X, you can find all my links in bio. Brad Binkley, youtube.com/Brad Binkley. Propaganda Fight is my website. Rumble.com/propaganda report. I think that covers it.
All right, Austin.
Man, I'm the host of the Underclass podcast, right? And yeah, the best place to support me is definitely the Patreon. And I also am the co-host each Tuesday. Me and Jose Galison from No Way Jose. We do a recurring show every Tuesday night, 6:30 p.m. Pacific time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. But yeah, it's basically Schizo Bros assemble, and we essentially try to stay on task, but it's almost impossible. So yeah, every single Tuesday night, I end up frustrated because I over prep and I never present the information I intended to. But it's definitely fun. It's what do we call it? Our weekly call-in conspiracy variety show, basically. And so yeah, it's been a lot of fun just to be able to have that call-in portion. I want to actually because we have like a producer level tier essentially for just like our patrons, where they can kind of hang out backstage, then we'll reminisce after the show a little bit. But I'm trying to, like, we used to have an actual call-in number, but because of the whole setup, it's just like frustrating. But that would be nice to have that once again kind of implemented into the framework of the show. But yeah, that's really I'm pretty sure that's it, besides obviously the paywall show that we do together.
Yeah, it's called Whatever This Is, and it's a lot of fun. I get to come on and just let these two guys go and have a great time, and it's like, I enjoy it. It's like really deep black belt conversations, and like both of them are whatever they bring up amazing stuff, and I'm like, oh my god, the whole time. It's and it's like, be quiet, people are sleeping. I'm like, but my mind is being blown, I can't control myself. But it's really great. And so like one of the things that were brought up just really blew my mind, and we were just kind of talking before. It's like, unfortunately, the perfect timing to talk about this because of what just happened in Minneapolis and that whole stuff with the school shooting. So let's get into it. It's the Libor scandal, which I like is one of the most insane stories ever of all time, ever.
Absolutely. And I think that the way that I sort of stumbled upon that scandal to begin with is extraordinary in itself, right? Just as far as those connections are concerned. But what's fascinating is that really just the pattern recognition of witnessing so many of these events, kind of like, just like if you parallel them, like compare them with each other, there are so many obvious parallels. It's impossible to just kind of dismiss if you have at all, at any real deep level, intended to like and attempted to just expose yourself to the real extraordinary details surrounding many of these cases. And I'm speaking on really, for the most part, these sort of modern mass shooting events, right? And how often they tend to happen. And clearly in Minneapolis, this Minneapolis mass shooting is another great example of how, one, the event is always obviously used as a political tool and a political football
they're
at the
already
end of the day.
doing all the gun control stuff, like right out the gate. And I've always said, if this makes it to ESPN, then it's certified a PSYOP. Whenever a political story makes it to Sports Center, that's when you know it's a full-on press to manipulate your emotions and get your anxiety up, so you give them whatever they want.
And the anxiety too, like leading up to this one, the past week and a half, there's been story after story of hoax shooting going on at, I think, at least 3 schools that they covered. It happens all the time, but there was the one where the guy was carrying the umbrella that Nancy May shared, and everybody freaked out.
You brought that up the other day. Yeah, I remember you saying that. Go on, yeah.
And so there's like 800 of these a year, but they focused on, there's one at Villanova, and then there was one in Chattanooga, University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, on the same day, where all these kids freaked out because they were told to run, fight, or hide. And it's one of the part of the discussion there was this could cause kids in future shootings that are real to ignore the warnings.
Interesting.
Dude,
that's so interesting.
That makes sense. It's like a fire drill. Fire drill, you don't take it serious because you know it's not real. How many times do you take a fire drill and you're kind of like, oh, fucking loosey-goosey?
Ignore it. Yeah,
yeah, you go hang out with your other friends from the other classrooms when it should be a serious topic.
I totally agree with
Brother.
that.
That's also a psychological conditioning, right? As far as the same thing occurs in Theater 9, the Aurora, Colorado Cinema 16 shooting, where effectively it was like 20 minutes into the show of The Dark Knight, right? It was the premiere of The Dark Knight, and essentially it was right as a shooting event was taking place in the film itself, and so you had all of these like explosive devices that were going off in the actual theater itself, as far as like. You had individuals watching the.
Wow.
Corbin Dates was one of the victim witnesses who he claims he couldn't distinguish between the live rounds being fired from allegedly James Holmes or the actual film itself, because they were in the middle of a firefight in the movie.
The audio's great, it's so lifelike. You can't tell the difference. On today, they were talking to witnesses, and they were saying that at first people didn't realize it was real. They thought it was people roofing nearby.
Oh my God, dude. And
that's crazy.
That gets into the Parkland shooting, where it's like they were running a drill, and you just see all these interviews going, they were just telling us it's a drill. And that's why, and then it gets into like what really happens into these events. And it's shocking. And it's
100%.
And it's like also like what I said in the last episode, is that, here we are in Minneapolis again, which seems to be this epicenter of PSYOP, right? It's just PSYOP utopia, where just like all these crazy things are coming out, just like Broward County used to be that.
Yeah.
Where like every single thing that came out, whether it was 9/11, school shooting, who's the kid that got kidnapped and they found his head?
Elliot? Oh, no.
Oh, you remember his dad went on to run that America's Most Wanted?
Oh, yes. Oh, God. What was his name? The America's Most Wanted guy.
Adam, what was
yeah.
Right now, people at home are shouting it out, and 5 of us are just.
You talking about the host of it?
Yeah,
John Walsh.
Adam Walsh. That was out of there as well. So you have these things constantly coming out Broward County. Now it looks like Minneapolis is the new one. Where
Sheriff Israel's going to move. He's going to show up. He's now in Minneapolis.
Yeah, 100. I got pulled from Hawaii over to here, and they're like, I don't know, man, just bad luck, I guess.
My God.
And it's again like it's like people have been saying forever. It's like they're going to hit the emotional epicenters where they're going to be able to pull our emotional strings the most.
You know what else was Broward County? Was the hanging Chad. Remember that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was Broward County.
Yeah. I'm telling you, it's PSYOP Central, it's PSYOP Utopia.
You think this has anything to do with the National Guard? You think Minneapolis is going to like bring the National Guard at this point? Because what if they would have been there?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think so.
That.
I mean, listen, I know that they had the National Guard in the No Kings thing. And the last time I remember National Guard was the Rodney King riots, right? So it's usually something like that.
COVID, too.
But the bringing of the National Guard in the Washington D.C. is a psyop to me. It's because it's a sovereign territory. He can do that right there without technically doing it on American soil. So it's like it's a little.
I mean, I remember seeing him rolling down Melrose during the BLM riots too. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
I mean, that was weird, bro.
I mean, that was weird.
That was weird.
But so you saw that?
I saw them. Yeah, they were on my block, bro. Like armed in desert fatigues, which I thought was weird. With like APCs like rolling up the streets of Melrose, the fashion district.
You see
next to Lala's.
The footage in DC, man. Like it's kind of laughable in a way, just as far as they're being seen picking up trash. Like I thought it was kind of hilarious. Just
we're gonna bring him all a pizza, Austin.
Dude, it's so ridiculous to me though, because like they were like doing on the beat reporting from some sort of mainstream media publication. I can't recall which one. And essentially they're in a black neighborhood, right? An all black neighborhood. And they're just like, it looks as if they're specifically prioritizing individuals that really have no frame of reference for the dystopian kind of really precedent setting operation that's obviously being conducted on the ground here in DC.
Yeah.
And they seem to be like making these statements where they're very much like kind of like the old conservative mentality of like, well, if you're not doing anything wrong, what do you have to worry about?
Yeah, take your pants off.
Situation.
I saw a black guy being interviewed. He goes, man, I've been pulled over more times this week than I have in all of my life.
That's so funny, dude.
Sam, you said something about the emotional manipulation of it. I've been reading through on my show the CIA or OSS CIA morale field manual, which is like it's like a complement, but much more in depth than the simple sabotage manual. And man, these people, they're diabolical in their strategies. Like one of the operations, tactical operations that they talk about in there is they say inducing panic in enemy populations, and the mission is to augment the feelings of insecurity, anxiety, and panic in enemy civilian population. Neurotic anxiety adds greatly to the political and administrative problems of the enemy. That's just like the surface level of what they talk about doing. They just mess with people relentlessly.
Well, it's like, okay, you're just doing that to the enemies,
right?
You're just doing that in enemy territory. Is that what you want us to believe? It's so obvious you're doing that here too, to manipulate us. And that's why these shootings are so they're very specific in where they hit. Are you telling me that you're a trans progressive and you don't walk into a neo-Nazi rally and start just blowing people away? Like there's things that progressives hate, and you never see them go into those things. But it's like you're hitting kids. You're hitting kids in schools. You know, if you look at the
what
Vegas
he said
shooting
on that video.
What's that?
Right.
Well,
what he said on that video, he was saying like he literally said he apologized to his family, said I love them, and then he said the kids, and he like flips off the camera, and it was very strange. Like he sounded like just like sort of just kind of like a punk bitch you played Call of Duty with. Like honestly, like that type of mentality is very strange. But he was clearly, I mean, it was obviously considering what transpired. Like I mean, clearly it seems a little bit more sinister as far as watching the video. But at the same time, it's like the behavior, I don't know. It's like he's singing tomorrow, you know, like legitimately.
He's mentally ill. He's on SSRIs, and he's like got all these chemicals to change his biology. His brain is shish kebab. It's a stew of crazy. It's just a stew of crazy. And it's just like, it's manipulation. And again, it's like we've talked about before, what's stopping them from hitting these waves of like just energy that, you know, these what are they called? Oh man, I'm having a bad day today. What's it called when they sneak somebody in as a candidate and he's really controlled?
Manchurian candidate.
Well, yeah, these Manchurian candidates. You know what? They do that all the time. We've had guests come on that they have like what? How many all over the world? Where like Project Gladio, right? Like they have people all over the world that they can just with some radio wave or something like that trigger them. They go crazy.
They can have handlers online, like in these. Like you mentioned gaming, Austin. These OCEs, online covert employees. That's what they call undercover employees who operate online that are feds, and they go and they seek out these people who keep themselves isolated, who are gamers, and they start fueling them up. Hey, I can't believe they did that shit to you. You know, I'd be pissed off if I were you. And they just build them up. They're like, hey, you need a gun? I got a gun. You know, I got a bomb, whatever.
Yeah. So it's like the 764 Discord, right? Where the accelerationism playbook, where they attempt to
accelerationism playbook. Yep, that's it.
It's crazy, man. And you mentioned the radio frequencies, but I think that they've legitimately for decades had the ability to trigger a Manchurian with a code phrase utilizing a cell phone, like 100%, at least for quite some time now. That has been a remote device before the cell phones existed, right? That they could legitimately utilize for that purpose as well. But you had mentioned the county, like counties being sort of compromised at a certain level. And I'm very much under the impression that it's essentially, if you consider, Broward County, but then also Culpeper County, Virginia, like I couldn't even believe how that's where Sidney Gottlieb went to retire. I found out. So, oh my God, dude, that's where Marion David Petty, the game caller, the cult founder of the Finders, with the intelligence background, and his wife in the CIA, and his son working for Air America, right? And which is just a CIA cutout, which was just passed off to the Epstein network, and essentially what had happened, they call it Sidney Gottlieb was back on the farm, and it was very interesting because again, this is where it seems like spooks go to retire, but there's a lot of strange, let's just say, scandals that have occurred in this very as far as the geographical area, and I discovered something recently. It kind of blew me away. Beyond the fact that this perfectly aligns with Columbine as well, and this Littleton, right, in Littleton, Colorado, basically being the town itself is allegedly a safe community. That's what it was essentially. I heard Chris Graves on Charlie Robinson's show like years ago. Like I'm pretty sure it was a couple of years ago, and I heard him come on. He basically kind of like pitched the idea that Littleton, the town itself, had a very strong footprint as far as intelligence, the intelligence community, having all of these retirees there, essentially claiming they had retired, but honestly, it seems as if they're serving prominent roles in terms of like facilitating cover-ups or green light go domestic operations for precedent-setting sort of pretexts. But and usually for landmark gun legislation, which is ridiculous, and you see it with even in DC, they claim that didn't Pam Bondi she just released this hilarious, or at least it was yesterday, she posted saying 87 more arrests and 4 illegal firearms seized last night in Washington, D.C., where not a single carjacking has occurred over the last week. We also arrested another.
She's awful.
Dude, it's crazy. And what did they show? 1,094 arrests, 115 illegal guns seized. Like, that is what Republicans voted for, I guess. I mean, that's kind of like the funniest part, honestly, is just that this is really what you're witnessing is the dystopian totalitarian tiptoe, right?
Yeah, and what we see sometimes in these TikTok videos where people like, oh, I'm in Russia. I can walk down the street. There's no litter. There's no crime. There's no nothing, right? And you go, yeah, but also the government completely controls every single aspect of your life. So these moments where you have like, okay, crime's out of control, I totally understand why we're upset about that. But just know the government's listening to everything you do. If you criticize them, you disappear. They black bag you all the time. Where do we see this? Where, I can walk, there's no crime anywhere. China, Russia, all these Eastern Bloc countries.
Look at all these hot virgins. They do that one too.
Yeah. These chicks are all virgins, and then like the chicks from those areas are also filling all the brothels around the world. There's also becomes this thing where we get into this kind of totalitarian utopia where also women become assets and are just sent all over the world to be pimped out. I mean, this is what comes. Yes, there's no crime anywhere. Well, because every aspect of your life is completely on lockdown.
Right.
Hey guys, real quick, I want to tell you about one of our favorite sponsors. That's Mint Mobile. Listen, if you're tired of all these extra fees, ridiculous stuff, guess what? I got the solution for you. Mint Mobile. Let me tell you about Mint Mobile. With plans starting at $15 a month, Mint Mobile gives you premium wireless service on the nation's largest 5G. The coverage and the speed you used, but way less money. So while your friends are sweating over data overages and surprise charges, you'll be chilling literally and financially, okay? I use this and you should too. If you need something like this, like you need a new phone program, you're getting a second phone, this is what I do. Seriously, it's quality service. Mint Mobile service is really quality, especially compared to all the other providers. I love Mint Mobile. I'm very thankful for Mint Mobile, okay? Say goodbye to your overpriced wireless plans, jaw-dropping monthly bills, and unexpected overages. Mint Mobile is here to rescue all plans with high-speed data, unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Your own phone. You can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with your existing contracts. Ditch the overpriced wireless and get 3 months of premium wireless service from Mint Mobile for $15 a month. It's quality service, dude. In comparison to the other ones, I mean, the other ones are like, oh, I'm the big mobile people. And I'll be like, dude, you're cutting out. I can't hear you. Where am I? Am I in a mountain deep in Afghanistan and I can't get connection?
Can you hear me now? No,
can you hear me now?
I cannot.
I can't hear you now, okay?
This year, skip breaking a sweat and breaking the bank. Get this new customer offer and your 3-month unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month at mentmobile.com/tinfoil. That's mentmobile.com/tinfoil.
Upfront payments of $45 for 3 months, 5 gigabyte plan required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers offer for the first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details, and we thank them for sponsoring the show. Hey guys, listen, as we get older, we all experience some hair loss, and nobody wants that, and that's why you got to check out our good friends at Hims. They have a plan that can help. So let me tell you about Hims.
You don't need another hat. Do you hear that, Sam? You don't need another hat.
What?
You need a personalized plan to regrow hair. Through Hims, you can access treatments that combine clinically proven minoxidil and finasteride to stop hair loss and regrow hair in just 3 to 6 months. Hims offers convenient access to a range of prescription hair loss treatments with ingredients that work, including chews, oral medication, serums, and sprays. Their doctor-trusted, clinically proven ingredients like finasteride and minoxidil can stop hair loss and regrow hair, as I said, in as little as 3 to 6 months. You shouldn't have to go out of your way to feel like yourself. Hims brings expert care straight to you with 100% online access to personalized treatments that put your goals first. No hidden fees, no surprise costs, just real personalized care on your schedule. Think of Hims as your digital front door that gets you back to your old self with simple 100% online access to trusted treatments for real health concerns all in one place.
For simple online access to personalized and affordable care for hair loss, ED, weight loss, and more, visit hims.com/tinfoil hat. That's Hims, HIMS.com/tinfoil hat for a free online visit. hims.com/tinfoil hat.
Individual results may vary based on studies of topical and oral minoxidil and finasteride. Prescription required. See website for full details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Yeah, and I think that it's important. You just mentioning how obviously sort of the prostitution exploitation in a certain way. I think that has obviously been long-standing by the powers that be as far as using human honeypot operations for blackmail purposes. But the point I wanted to make just about the sort of compromised counties, I think it's important because it's interesting that it was described as a safe community, Littleton, Colorado, right, where Columbine effectively happened, less than 20 miles from Aurora, Colorado's Cinema 16, right, Century 16 Theater, where it would then transpire in 2012 with James Holmes. But it's interesting because clearly there's essentially there were in Columbine, there were these like FEMA comms vans that were discovered, and a U.S. Major General was on the ground. Effectively, there were like multiple shooters, at least 3 that they claimed that they saw an additional shooter. But Susan Klebold, the mother of Dylan Klebold, right, one of the alleged perpetrators, she claimed that she speculated about mind control manuals being discovered in the home of Eric Harris, Wayne Harris, which was the father of Eric Harris, who was one of the he had a strange military background. We can get into that later. I just found it interesting, the connection to the county itself. But if you consider like the prostitution exploitation that you mentioned, the reason I mentioned the farm, because this is so crazy, in Culpeper County, Virginia, because it seems to provide this explanation for the Finders Goat Gate, which I couldn't believe this was happening. And if you consider like Judge Connerot in the Mark Dutroux case, he's the judge who helped rescue and save 2 of the young girls that were in the dungeon of Mark Dutroux in Belgium, this dungeon, right? And you had Judge Connerot break down in the witness box when he's testifying after he was removed from the essentially seeing over the trial, right, overseeing the trial due to a conflict of interest because he attended an event on behalf of the victims' families. And so that was deemed a conflict of interest. And the judge who replaced him obviously was compromised within the framework of the network.
Unbelievable, dude.
Dude,
it's crazy.
Michelle Nehul was the name of this individual. He called himself
Michelle Nehul? Was that what you said?
Michelle Nehul.
Oh.
Yeah. And he but he claims, he had he effectively claimed he had compromising tapes on King Albert in Belgium, right? Who was technically, the aristocracy, right? Where he said he had videotapes of him raping a 12-year-old boy, and that and essentially he said that he said he was completely insulated, and
Albert was like, it was consensual.
Well, I was trying to find yesterday a video. There's this guy that is a Nobel Peace Prize winner, and it was the craziest video, and it was so dark I didn't want to save it because I was like, that is some dark shit.
Yeah.
And then I wish I would have because I could show everybody what a piece of shit this guy is. He's being interviewed by this woman, and he's like, the boys climbed into my bed and they started playing with me. I didn't ask them to. They did it and they wanted it. So I just, and he's yelling at her.
Dirty sluts.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to watch. I don't know how that guy walks the earth, dude.
Was he a pediatrician?
crazy.
I don't know. He's a Nobel Peace Prize winner. It's like an older guy. The video looks like it's from a while ago, but it was shocking to watch.
On Instagram?
Yeah, it was one. I was gonna use it on Doomscroll, but I thought that was just too much, dude. All right, so
Hey.
Go on.
I was just going to say, you remember you called me the other night, and I was just mentioning how I had watched Bill Cooper after Columbine, right? Just like a video of him sort of breaking down into tears over just the emotional impact it was having on him. And I know a lot of people, like to question the credibility of Bill Cooper, and I understand that. They do that with Ted Gunderson all the time. I think there's perhaps a little bit more credibility to those questions with Ted, but still, when it comes down to...
What's the idea? That they're there to muddy the water?
Yeah, basically disinformation agents that are sort of controlled opposition, whether they're aware of it or not. That's where you kind of have like this inability to come to any sort of terms of agreement as far as a lot of the conspiratorial community. But obviously that's always the case.
So you analyze the information and you try and separate from the source regardless, because people who are well-intentioned get it wrong, and people who are propagandists will tell the truth sandwiched in between two lies. So the safest bet, even though it's difficult to do, is to just focus on analyzing the content and deciphering that as much as possible.
Agreed, brother. That's definitely my priority at all times, because it's always difficult in terms of just interpreting and attempting to discern for yourself an individual's character, obviously, just in terms of their integrity. And that's, you can clearly be deceived. So obviously you want to make sure that you reinforce.
Look at everybody following Charlie Kirk. Lots of people can be deceived.
Absolutely, buddy. But I will say, like, the video.
It is crazy how a call will be made and they will just torpedo their whole thing. Like they will, like Patrick Bet David right now, who just had on Netanyahu, and you're like, why are you doing? Like, you've seen what happens to everybody that brings him on. Why would you bring him on? And I guess on the surface, you're like, he's like, I'll interview everybody. I'll do it the proper way. People will see. And at the end, go to the comment section. Just literally get a train. He's getting a train ran on him.
Jake's at the top of it always.
He didn't push back at all.
That too.
Not that I condone it, but I would assume he did better than the Milk Boys.
The only thing he got into, we talked about in BS, was the
Armenian genocide.
Yeah, the Armenian. He got Netanyahu to acknowledge it officially as the head of state of Israel, but that was it.
He didn't really say it. He's like, oh yeah, I think we did it. Blah, 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 blah. He goes, but have you? He goes, I just did. And it was just like, okay, I'll move on.
Such an asshole. I'd like somebody to ask him, hey, you're the most progressive country in the world. You're the LGBTQ capital of the world. You have the most draconian COVID measures. You begged Fauci to experiment there. Fauci did and then called you the model. You are everything that liberals wanted to turn America into under Biden, and yet they hate Israel. And on the other side, MAGA was like, we need to vote the woke out and get Trump in so we can send all of our money to the wokest nation in the country, in the world. Yeah. It's just baffling.
It is, and it's meant to make you not know if you're coming or going. That is the purpose of it. It's just it goes back to what you said about just confusing the enemy. That's what they I mean, today we live in, the Democrats want the Jeffrey Epstein list released. The talking heads of the Republicans like, why do we care? What do we care? Who cares?
Trust the plan.
Move on, right?
I trust my friends in the administration, as Charlie Kirk would say.
Michael Tracy's career has finally matched up with his look, which is creepy as shit. Right?
Looks like he has a dungeon. Looks like he's got
a dungeon. What did Joey Diaz call it? Dungeon juice, right?
Oh my God.
Okay.
So Patrick, it's probably safe to say Patrick Bet David didn't ask about the cybersecurity that was whisked away back to Israel and protected, obviously, after he committed those crimes in Vegas, luring a retarded child. I mean, basically, right? Isn't that what happened? He was luring a child with disabilities.
Yeah.
Into.
Did he want it? Is the question.
No, that's basically Mike Tracy's his whole thing. He's like, they're just dudes trying to bang, man. They just want to bang. It's just an adult app. I just want to bang. It's like, dude. It's like he's like pedo panic, and I'm like, bro. And I just listed everything that's been proven true. Even if you think that the story isn't quite what's being told, the passion in which you've decided to label this pedo panic, like we're all acting out of pocket, like this isn't as big of a deal, is just career suicide.
It's crazy because after Epstein got out the first time, there were a handful of people who he funded. This came out in court documents, that plea letter that I talk about all the time that nobody ever talks about. It had those 5 guys on there who helped him get that deal, and 3 of them we know at least took money after he got out. And their job afterwards, and they aggressively did it, especially the guy at Harvard, Martin Novick, lobbied for Epstein, put him back on the website. He's not what they say he is. They had a pretty elaborate campaign to whitewash his reputation and rebuild his brand. And that's going on right now with people like Michael Tracy. I'm just wondering, is he doing it for free or somebody paying him?
I mean, I understand, like, kind of like, trying to go against the grain a little bit. There's sometimes there's some like political cachet in that. But when it comes to pedophilia, it's just like, why? What are you doing? Like, why are you doing it? And it sounds to me like it's just one of those things where a guy has been a high profile person in a sea of influencers. Yeah. And it's like, there's all these influencers. Why are these certain people promoted over other people? And it just seems like this has been all astroturfed.
Yeah, modern Mockingbird is my favorite way to put it, honestly, because like so many of these covert operations, right, like MK Ultra, perfect example as well. They never ended. They were effectively driven underground for plausible deniability purposes after the Church Committee hearings, which, by the way, I just found an incredible claim about potentially Frank Church being entrapped by a child prostitution operation, and that he was completely controlled during that time, and that Richard Helms was potentially sort of attached to that in a way with Alan Dulles and Sidney Gottlieb, and effectively compromised him by entrapping him with this child prostitute.
Dude. And that's basically what they thought about McCarthy, right? And
yes.
like that Ray Cohen, is that his name? The guy was
Roy Cohn.
Kind of like was Cohen, Cohen just was like manipulating from behind. Real quick before you get going, can you play that video real quick?
Yeah, just send it to him.
It's so
the guy's name is Dr. Daniel Carlton Gajusek. It's probably a silent J in there, but he worked with the NIH, and he won the Nobel Peace Prize in '76 for his work in infectious disease.
I mean, dude, just the worst of the worst, right? Are you okay?
Talking about hundreds of kids with this guy.
Getting it over right now.
It looks like you're texting something.
Well, I texted it to him.
Oh, okay.
And he's
right. So, but how many kids did he save with his infectious disease work and probably vaccine development?
Yeah, how many? It's crazy times, dude. It's just crazy ass times.
That is crazy. The Epstein guy, Novik, one of his studies of focus is also infectious diseases, and he was one of the guys they consulted with on how to create incentives to just get people to shut up and take the jab. It's so weird.
What about our other co-host? Is he
Martin Seligman, who is Epstein's $100 million man behind the curtain, the head of the brainwashing industrial complex in the U.S. He has been for years. Ted Kaczynski's work was influenced by him. His book, he learned helplessness. He tortured dogs. It was then used to create the CIA torture program after 9/11. The Guantanamo Bay program. At a couple meetings they had where Seligman himself even said there was Israeli intelligence there. He inspired the work of an Australian a doctor who did similar work on other animals and then died mysteriously in I can't remember which country, but at the time he had been accused of doing Seligman's learned helplessness studies.
I don't think that's it, dude.
Except he was doing it on children, and that is Nicole Kidman's father.
Yes.
Anthony Kidman. Yep.
And the guy then, he had Epstein. He helped Epstein get the deal. Epstein funded his work from 2003 on. He got $31 million no big contract to create a brainwashing to do an experiment on the Army. And that's why you're never going to hear any of this stuff. Because this guy is an 82-year-old psychologist who has been the deep state psychologist for decades. He's more powerful than the president. He is considered in these elite academic rankings the most influential psychologist in the world. He's currently conducting a study worldwide using social media language to create psychological resiliency scores. That policy can be created around the more psychological resilient you are, the more conforming you are, the more you see that as a virtue, and the less so, the more of a problem you the highest levels of these behind-the-scenes operators they're being paid to brainwash and have been for decades are why we're never going to actually see real Epstein shit because they need them and they're still using
100%. Now, is this the video?
It is, yeah. The beginning, you see his alleged victims, and then it's him at the end talking about.
Yeah, can you get to that part where he
it's right. If you skip right to the end, actually.
Yeah, and then we'll get into the Libor scandal.
What are you thinking? Like
Yeah,
it's
just
him right
before
there.
that, just before that.
Talking right there.
Okay, right after that, you can do it. There we go. Next one. There we go. Right here. Listen to this.
They have come to my bed, and I am no one to kick them out. If they hug me and I find them playing with my cock, I say, good on you, I play with theirs. And I'll do it now and with great pleasure.
When you grow up with a culture that does not condone this, that totally objects
No
to
culture
it,
condones it.
surely it must hurt you when you get subjected to a grown-up forcing sexuality on you.
Boy, what a brainwashed person you are. With 300 or 400 boys.
Listen to him.
Who had sex with me from 8 and 10 and 12. 100% have run into my bed, jumped in without my mentioning it,
Fuck off.
and asked for sex. I have never asked for it. I've never, and most of my friends, don't you realize that I was jumping in people's beds hoping they would take me? All boys want a lover. My God.
You as a kid.
And the idea that these men go after you don't have any point in the world. Now, come on. That's the rule of the game.
He did a year in jail, this guy, for hundreds of
A
victims.
year?
Yeah. A year.
I love his argument. He's like, I'm too sexy. I'm too sexy.
Yeah, he's just like, what? They're running in my bed. What am I supposed to do? I mean,
He needed
like,
his Nobel Prize behind him on the counter.
Who am I to kick them out of bed?
yeah, and like, how do you interview that guy without effing losing it on him?
You want me to, for sure.
How do you do
No
that?
way, I couldn't.
And he has that face, like you said, Sam. Like, immediately, I was like, this is the guy y'all are talking about.
Yeah, nobody who's
Oh yeah,
interacted
with
that guy's not
the
scarred.
skin, like you can tell by
Yeah.
their
Yes.
skin.
Yeah.
Pedos have a weird skin. It looks like cheese,
That Prince Andrew's, the Prince Andrew skin.
right? It's
looks
all
like-
Right.
Look at that. It's got weird,
Just a
weird
lot of
texture.
ugly dudes, man. It's
Well,
a lot of
well, a
ugly
lot
dudes.
of them are just, a lot of them just can't talk to grown-up women. They're intimidated, so they work kids.
Or they were abused, of course. We know
Yeah,
that.
I mean,
Right.
So listen, I want to get into two things, and then we'll go off for a little bit. But I want to get into Libor scandal. Can we get into that and then get into
Yeah.
the program that Columbine was? We'll get into that after. But
Absolutely.
both these things blew my mind. So where do you want to start on that?
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I think it's probably best to start with the connection where I discovered the Libor scandal was in terms of how it came across my radar was that obviously James Holmes' father was directly connected into the scandal, but it's important to understand what the Libor scandal really was, because it's very interesting, essentially, in terms of what they were attempting to do in terms of like rigging international finance rates. If you want to understand how much, and by the way, the essentially. And it's so fascinating to me because this is overlapping directly with Sandy Hook. And this all occurred right within under 4 months. Okay, it was around a 3-month period, I believe, if it was June, right? As far as the 2012, whenever the James Holmes event occurred. And then here, let me pull up this because this is fascinating stuff when you actually like read through what's happening in terms of the Libor scandal itself, which was this manipulation of the London interbank offered rate, Libor, by several major banks. Now, this is a benchmark interest rate, right? Crucial for setting and borrowing costs for various financial products, including mortgages, corporate loans, right? This is all effectively between 2003 to 2012 that the real scandal is taking place. So consider the major economic crisis as well in 08, the housing crisis that occurred, clearly being wrapped up into a lot of this manipulation and corruption. And so, yeah, the scandal itself is publicly exposed in 2012, which led to this investigation. And so then you had individuals who are essentially caught up in the investigation and set to testify later on in the year 2012. And basically they inevitably, I believe, even had to change off and pivot away from the original Libor the actual Libor sort of international finance system itself to a new system that was replaced called SOFR, I believe, SOFR, Secured Overnight Financing Rate. And this all was implemented by 2023, apparently. But the way that it came up, and as far as my radar specifically, was that there are essentially, in my mind, two whistleblowers that were effectively silenced, that were set to testify, and one of which happens to be the father of
You
James Holmes.
Set it up, because what they need to know is who these guys are and what did they discover, because this is like sets up how deep the corruption is and what they'll do to cover it up.
Right. So James Holmes, first of all, it's important to understand like the glowing family background of the father of James Holmes, just so you understand. Clearly, this was no coincidence in my mind, but obviously you have the father, which is very strange that this is even as far as Dr. Robert Holmes. Now consider the fact that the mother of James Holmes was also a psychiatric nurse, but that can play into the actual event itself, obviously, in in sort of NLP, right, neuro-linguistic programming and everything else involved. But Dr. Robert Holmes, he had a PhD in statistics in 1981 from the University of California at Berkeley. He worked for San Diego-based HNC Software, Inc., Incorporated from 2000 to 2002. Now, HNC is known as a neural network company, and DARPA, beginning in 1998,
oh my God,
was working on developing fortronic neural networks, which would allow machines to interpret oral and visual stimuli to think like humans. Yep. And so
and this was in the 90s?
It's like 98. I think.
Oh my God.
He also did 2 studies for the Navy and the Marine Corps on how to forecast personnel changes using tree classifications, which is basically predictive behavioral modeling.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
exactly.
God. Guys, listen, in these crazy times, you got to figure out a way to relax, and there's no better way to relax than our good friends at Cornbread Hemp. That's right. Let me tell you about Cornbread Hemp. Have you been looking for a natural way to relieve aches and discomfort? The CBD gummies from Cornbread Hemp are formulated to work with your body and not against it. Cornbread Hemp CBD gummies are made to help you feel better, whether it's stress, discomfort, or just needing a little relaxation. They only use the best part of the hemp plant, the flower, formulated to help relieve discomfort, stress, and sleeplessness. All products are third-party lab tested and USDA organic to ensure safety and purity. Okay, so here's what we need you to do. Right now, Tinfoil Hat listeners, aka the Swarm, okay, can save 30% on their first order. Just head to cornbreadhemp.com/tinfoil. That's cornbreadhemp/tinfoil. And use the code tinfoil at checkout. That's cornbreadhemp.com/tinfoil. And use the code tinfoil. And we thank them for sponsoring our show.
It gets very strange as well because again, if you consider the notion of green lighting a sort of strategic asset, like, again, prioritizing sort of political assets and their children. That is really what it is. Yes. Like, and I just found that in terms of the Vegas judge, right? Considering that crazy connection to the cybersecurity professional answering directly to Bibi Netanyahu. It turns out this judge, which is crazy to me to consider the idea, and this is how it works. And again, if you want to understand, just at least catching a glimpse into how these scandals are effectively covered up at the legal level, I think that it's important to understand that essentially there are like high level, targeted assassinations utilizing various, strategic assets, whether they be paramilitary organizations or just this private network. They even have utilized in the context of like the RFK assassination, Thane Eugene Cesar. He's working with the Howard Hughes, sort of his under that umbrella in the private sector, which was providing this plausible deniability. But what was he? He was effectively a hitman for the mob.
Oh my
and so
God.
he's just being like, they provided him this sort of alibi of moonlighting as a security guard at the Ambassador Hotel for like just a couple of days prior to the event transpiring. and so he could be strategically in place and usher RFK very
Isn't that
quickly.
with John Lennon too? Like they say there were spooks all over his apartment complex,
and they had his phones tapped and all kinds of stuff.
Unbelievable.
We found out about it in the Nixon, when all the shit about Nixon came out, that he actually was being followed. They tried to get him kicked out of the country.
There was a spy scandal in the Nixon administration called the Moore-Radford affair, and it's fascinating. They were basically there was an internal spy operation on the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and it's very interesting how much they were trying to set up like a private intelligence apparatus that wouldn't answer to the CIA, and effectively that was entirely undermined with I forget what something Houston essentially was like the CIA's guy on the inside but it doesn't matter. Point being, it's just important to understand how these scandals are really covered up at the I think just in terms of the sort of legal implications and the consequences themselves, just escaping any real accountability. And then obviously they always find the plausible patsy to sort of like take the fall for the wider network.
Yes, that's what they do. That's RFK, his dad. That's what they did. They think the sheriff behind him is the one who actually shot and killed him, not Sirhan. He thinks that as well. Like JFK, all the gunfire from all over the place, blaming a patsy. I mean, even again, going back to that Parkland shooting, they were just like, that young chick was like, he was running with me. I don't know how they said it was him. Like, who knows what happened to that chick?
Oh, yeah. And Lisa Peace, she wrote A Lie Too Big to Fail. It's a pretty good book on the RFK assassination. And she believes that Sirhan was firing blanks when he was in the pantry that day. And essentially, all of the necessary, the necessary formula was perfectly represented as far as how you would trigger a Manchurian with prior, clearly that he had been sort of in a hypnotic trance so very often in the past that once there was a psychiatrist, an expert psychiatrist on the during the trial that basically put him into a hypnotic trance and had him perform a monkey routine in jail. And he said he shouldn't be this suggestible, basically, is what he was claiming. But what Lisa Peace claims is that, he was just firing blanks for distractionary tactic, while the true obvious hitman and the priority assassin, the professional, was firing the shots at point blank range just behind his ear, right? And that's why he fell back on top of Thane Eugene Cesar, who then gets rid of the weapon in this very underhanded way, which is why
he shoots blanks, because everyone behind RFK is a part of the plot, so they don't want them hitting any of them. So
and what did he
blanks,
do?
Nobody gets hit, and then the only guy gets hit is the intended target.
Exactly, and Sirhan gets tackled to the ground, and he's still in this hypnotic state where he can't stop firing. He's just over and over firing this imaginary weapon that's no longer even in his hands, which to me is crazy, because when they put him in the trance during the trial as well, they walk him through it, basically leading the witness and say, the gun is in your hand now, Sirhan, right? And he just starts convulsing and uncontrollably pulling an imaginary trigger, and all he could say he's talking about coffee. That's the last thing he can remember when he's in the pantry, and he sees the woman in the polka dot dress, who I believe is Elaine Neal, in the black polka dots, right? Which again, if you're considering like all the different sensory, just sort of like the touch, the smell, the taste, essentially she like, and then having the audible sort of key phrase that she would then whisper in his ear just before he would effectively enter the trance, where he saw targets in his eyes and thought he was at the shooting range, which was where he had been sort of subliminally given his set of instructions, which he would then carry out. But again,
Mark David Chapman was like that. He would get phone calls and they would repeat over and over the same phrase on the phone call. Over and over and over again. So we go back to this Libor thing. You have these two guys. They work with FICA, right?
Mm-hmm. One of them worked with FICA. The other one worked with General Motors, didn't he?
Yeah. It's and that is, of course, Adam Lanza's father, which is that itself is fascinating, right? Where you have
a tax
both,
guy, I think.
You have both Adam Lanza and James Holmes as these obviously being represented as their fathers being involved here. And this is very strange, clearly, because you have Peter Lanza, VP Tax Director at GE Financial, right? And then you have, and he's of course the father of Adam Lanza, Newtown, Connecticut, Sandy Hook, the father of.
Who, by the way, said his son loved Ron Paul, and he was a big Second Amendment guy.
Interesting. That's kind of hilarious.
Lanza was a big Ron Paul guy.
That's what that's what his dad said in an interview.
Johnny's like that. Yeah. I've always been suspicious.
Well, I mean, it's probably just another sling thrown against Ron Paul.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't.
That's what it. Yeah,
right.
It makes sense.
What the kid writes Israel on his gun. Yeah, I mean, right. They're going off on that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's so and crazy. he wrote Ted K as well. He wrote Vicky Weaver. I was like, no, you bastard! How dare you? But it's just it was crazy to me to see that he put Holmes and Lanza on there as well. You know, obviously, it makes sense that he's sort of evoking this kind of pre-laid template, right? In a certain
Are you saying the shooter today did that?
Yeah, the Minneapolis mass shooter.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. Kick a spick was something he had on one of them as well. And
sorry, buddy.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Doug.
We would never do that here.
I know you guys wouldn't. Thank you. Thank you for the apologies.
This is LA's number one poker player.
We love beaners around here.
Yeah, we love our spicks.
But yeah, Israel must fall, right? Like a phoenix, we rise from the ashes. That was one that he put. He in his like manifesto. There's a picture of him. It looks like now this is in like looks like some sort of Russian. Honestly, I'm not entirely sure.
Of course, let's link it to that as well. Let's link it. I'm sure we'll find Iran connection somehow. Like he loved falafel from this Iranian restaurant.
He was radicalized at a shawarma place.
Yeah, he's radicalized at a shawarma place.
It's so crazy though. Like the symbol that he used as well was apparently that the same symbol used on the 4th of July shooter from 2024, Robert Crimo or whatever his name was. And he used that same symbol that looks like a sort of nihilistic, sort of neo-Nazi, satanic symbol. It reminds me of the Process Church in a way, of the Final Judgment, where they kind of like create their own swastika in a way. But it seems like much of this is about obtaining some sort of immortality, which is like an ancient belief system of like that was really kind of like in Scandinavia and the Viking cultures and much of like this sort of it reminded me a lot of like the Nordic pantheon and this belief system that is so often represented in like this Odinism belief system, right? This modern day representation of these Nordic beliefs, which are very
Vikings.
Strange. It's interesting.
Dude,
the Vinlander
Vikings
group,
have
right?
Trans?
Dude, I'm telling you, like they practice blood sacrifice. They practice blood sacrifice, though, like utilizing, essentially these ancient runes, right? That effectively sort of stand as like these symbols. If you remember the Delphi.
I mean, I see
murders,
I can
right?
program a kid with stuff like that to get them thinking that they're like, living.
We'll get into the programming. We'll get into that because Austin brought something up on the show that was pretty mind blowing when it came to Columbine. But so go on.
Peter Lanza, right? As far as his connections, there is tax director for General Electric, and by the way, that's the corporation that paid zero taxes on the $14.2 billion in profits that they achieved that very same year, which I think is hilarious. And so Peter Lanza scheduled to testify in the ongoing
he's a good tax guy,
scandal in 2000. Right.
Is he still working in taxes? I'd like to hire him.
So he effectively was scheduled to testify, right? Just as Robert Holmes was, and it's very interesting because this is all happening within that strange moment in time in 2012, just before both of their children. Both of their sons would be,
What they were going to testify, according to what you told us on the show, was that they had discovered that banks and corporations were artificially inflating and deflating their stock prices to the tune of ready for this number? $350 trillion. $350 trillion.
That's when those numbers doesn't even make sense.
Doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even make sense.
Might as well be
Not at all.
infinity dollars. You know?
To the tune of infinity dollars.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's so much. What's that? 350,000 billions?
Dude, I don't know. That's a lot of. It's a lot of zeros.
Yeah, fill half of Stacey Abrams' vagina.
got her in. We got to take shots at her all the time.
Got her in.
So they were going to testify in front of either Senate or Congress. I don't know which one it was, but they were going to testify that corporations and banks are illegally inflating and deflating their stock prices.
Right. Yeah. It was essentially. This is very interesting because obviously you have if you're considering the what sort of Robert Heck Nielsen, the corporation that James Holmes' father, Robert Holmes, was affiliated with, that was then a sort of later on it evolved into FICO, right? Which is interesting. This is all happening where he's working for H&C Software as a chief scientist, and basically H&C merges with the Minneapolis-based Fair Isaac Corporation, which that happened just around 98, 99, I believe, somewhere around there. Where you had this merger, and essentially this, of course, is a computer analysis decision-making company that Robert Holmes continued to work for at FICO. And so then it emerges that when also I think it's very important to remind ourselves that James Holmes, when he's 20 years old, he works as a camp counselor at Camp Max Strauss of the Big Brothers and Sisters of Los Angeles, which I found very interesting.
Of course. Oh my God.
Always.
They're always involved.
For real, man. And according to this journal, among other tasks that Holmes helped to, as far as with, he helped to teach boys between the ages of 7 to 10 in how to become sort of at least above novice in archery, apparently. And so now this is very interesting because the consideration of really the history of this language institute, which James Holmes is the grandson of Lieutenant Colonel Robert Holmes, who's one of the first Turkish language graduates of the Army Language School.
It's a Mayflower family too, by the way.
That's what they, yeah. Exactly. That blew me away when I found that out, that he was sort of that old aristocratic family, dynasty, the dynastic nature of things. Like, it doesn't surprise me, but at the same time, like, it's kind of fascinating to actually see the fact that some of his ancestors came to the U.S. on the Mayflower, and so he has this English ancestry allegedly, which is just insane. But again, it's par for the course if you're considering how they sort of, like, the dynastic factor involved in so many of, like, these, not only the intelligence you just have, like, again, this overrepresentation of children who seem to be, right, just children of these intelligence families who have these very mysterious backgrounds that seem to be entirely drenched in covert operations, right? And then, and that was the same thing as far as Wayne Harris, right? They claimed that he was involved with behavioral modification, and that's why he went to Littleton in the first place. But
absolutely. I mean, it's the same type of research that those guys, Epstein's guys that he funded, Seligman and Novick, similar type of research that it sounds like Robert Holmes did. Is behavioral. What blows me away about it is that he was a behavioral prediction and risk assessment data scientist at FICO, which they use that modeling to predict our behavior and our risk, so they can create credit scores for us to decide what we can and cannot do. Yet, if we accept the official story, he was unable to predict his own son's risk and his own son's behavior, and yet we're bound to our credit scores. You should throw the whole FICO system out.
So basically what happens is they discover that these corporations are doing this, and they're about to testify, and they never do because scandal breaks out, a giant two impact events which are only 40 minutes away from each other, or 40 miles, or whatever that number is.
Less than 20 miles.
Less
Crazy.
than 20 miles away from each other, their kids shoot up a school and a movie theater.
Oh, well, no, less than 20 miles is Columbine. But the Adam Lanza connection, though, is through the sort of FICO connection there, right? Which obviously that's because it was Newtown, Connecticut was where the Sandy Hook school shooting took place,
So
right?
Sandy Hook and it's Aurora are where the two instances. And are they near each other?
Now, I don't really think they're that close together, but I do think that what was interesting to me about the geographical location of Aurora was the less than 20 miles from Columbine, right? Which, again, you had victims. This is the craziest statement as far as during the jury selection of the trial of James Holmes, that this was in 2015. You basically had this jury selection process that was kind of like sort of, you know, it was unprecedented as far as the number of jurors who were called. So essentially they summoned 9,000 candidates, and this was the largest jury summons in U.S. history. And April 15th of 2015 is when they ended the jury selection with a total of 19 women and 5 men. And this was very strange because obviously concerns arose in terms of the selection of the jurors, because at least 2 from the pool of 12 primary jurors, along with 12 alternates, had ties to the 1999 Columbine High School massacre. And juror number 535 happened to be the aunt of a Columbine survivor. Juror number 737 was a student there at the time and was also a former friend of the shooters, Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold, and was on the jury for James Holmes, which again, like, caused a lot of people to obviously claim that this could very well be a conflict of interest at the very least. Right?
That's good work by the prosecution. You know, when it comes to striking the jurors, it may be a little bit. Maybe they had it was in their favor, but that's crazy.
It is. It's insane to me. But again, it's like both Peter Lanza and Robert Holmes, right? They're effectively set to testify before the Senate. It was the U.S. Senate in the ongoing Libor investigation, and so it was basically these. They were just rigging the interest rate at which banks could borrow from each other, which was obviously a strategic way of compromising the international finance. It just, again, it's like
billions,
trillions of dollars, dude.
Yeah,
so crazy.
Made themselves look stronger during the crisis in 2008.
And what were they? They made how much? 350 something trillion essentially was kind of the number that was floated out there.
Yeah.
And then you have the fact that they were only fined 1.9 billion. Right.
And like there was a couple people who were prosecuted, but then they were later overturned and stuff. So it just like, they were like, it's cool.
Exactly.
So crazy, dude. That's how deep the corruption is and what they're willing to go through. What they're willing to do to hide the corruption.
Right. Yeah. And again, it's like these are contracts being completely rigged for trillions of dollars of profit. And clearly, there was no real accountability whatsoever, as you mentioned, Brad. Low-level traders were the only ones who were essentially, and it was just a handful that were kind of caught up and given these minor sentences, which just, to me, it goes to show that this was all by design in the first place. And unfortunately, too much was exposed, so therefore they had to have some sort of public transparency and claim as if there was a convenient solution that they would reach, right? Obviously, that would appease the public in terms of the general public a reaction or to this being exposed. But again, it's like, man, if you consider the idea that James Holmes' grandfather, right, as I mentioned, who's a part of the Monterey Language Institute, which again, it's like they claim Lee Harvey Oswald attended the Monterey Language Institute, and they claim that's where he was taught how to speak so fluently in Russian before he entered the fake defector program at the Atsugi Air Force Base, right? And essentially was
shit. Fake defector program.
a fake defector program. And it's such a crazy story because obviously, if you remember the sort of revelation of the method with Carrie Thornley, who was stationed with Lee Harvey Oswald, right? And it's just like the most ridiculous story as far as the right in terms of
it's never like a foster kid from Queens who shoots up a place. It's always somebody with a deep CIA background.
Absolutely. I think with the fictional Oswald story, right? It to me, it goes to lends credibility to the sheep dipping aspect of Atsugi and the MK Ultra connection there, because again, it's like they were running behavioral modification experiments on individual test subjects who were in the military at the Atsugi Air Force Base, which is where he was stationed before he was sent. So in the fake defector program, basically everywhere he went, the U-2 spy plane, or the B-2, what was it? U-2 spy. I'm pretty sure that's what it was named at the time. I forget. It was state-of-the-art spy plane at the time that was sort of, conducting this the covert surveillance, right, over the airspace of the Soviet Union. And everywhere Lee Harvey Oswald went, this spy plane followed. So it seemed as if he was. Yeah, they said he was on an intelligence dangle. He was sent there to effectively say. So it was essentially he has. It was very interesting because this is Marine Air Station El Toro in California, where Oswald was shipped off to the top secret naval air facility in Atsugi in Tokyo. And that's essentially where I think much of this took place because he was a part of the aircraft surveillance and training in terms of this was in it was U-2 spy flights over the Soviet Union.
And this is where Robert Holmes, or the grandfather, was.
This was where Robert Holmes was hanging out. Yeah, he was a graduate and was trained at the Monterey Language Institute, right? And so
the grandfather's involved too.
Yeah, had to have been in my mind.
God.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense, honestly, as far as I'm discovering so many examples now of like these families, these dynastic families involved in intelligence operations, specifically in the sort of behavioral modification, clandestine, covert. They seem to utilize their children in these experiments. Now, this came up even in the Johnny Gosch case when he was abducted. They claimed that the father of Johnny Gosch, this was according to Noreen Gosch, his mother, says that, and Paul Benassi said the same thing, who was a victim in the Franklin scandal.
Yeah.
And essentially said that Johnny Gosch, just before he was abducted and kidnapped by, I'm pretty sure I know the individuals who were a part of it, and I think John Wayne Gacy was one of them. But hey, that's another story. But I'm still saying, like, what allegedly happened is Johnny Gosch was taken by his father to Offutt Air Force Base, and this was a strategic hub for what they called the Monarch Boys training, right? And Paul Benassi.
God.
Yeah, man. So
do these parents?
That to me,
do you think these parents get paid, or do you think it's just they're already in the game? Or like, because I mean, it's your kid, right?
Right. Dude, I've struggled with that myself, just trying to make sense of how you could be such a psychopath or just sociopathic in a way to where you would prey upon your own child.
Because it's kind of.
I mean, we talked about that in the episode that's coming out after this about what Michael Malice says about white liberal women, that they're willing to sacrifice their children for, to be seen as this like queen of the woke, where it's like, look how trans my kid is. I'm the most open-minded mom out there.
This kind of
get in the club.
Yeah, this kind of reminds me of the series The Boys, how the parents know that the kids are going to become superheroes in the kind of way they trade them in for money. I don't know if they end up getting money, but in the movie The Boys, they get dejected by something, and the parents know, but the parents tell the kids that they didn't know that they have superpowers. But at the end of the day, the government injected them, and it just seems like, did you get money for that?
Any of these actors?
It's like the parents of Hollywood kids.
That's it. Yeah, any of those that know they're putting their kids into the meat grinder of Hollywood. I mean, kids get chewed up and spit out by that place, and they still take them, and they leave them alone with there's a very real casting couch situation still now for children.
Dude, totally.
In the city.
And you know what I believe? I believe the Me Too movement was to take the heat off of and place it on adults. So it just became like, dude, they're doing grab ass on Baywatch. Wow, and then nobody's talking about. And that's my opinion on like they kind of try to take, I know this is going to sound like the craziest thing ever, but they tried to take like the heat off of like Harvey Weinstein and Epstein, all that, and kind of put it on Crystalia. And they were trying to make it seem like look at the monster of Hollywood right here. And don't look at over here. These guys who are like involved in like the dark arts occult shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When's Candace Owens going to take up the case of Epstein like she did?
She loves doing
she's a
that.
contrarian, isn't she? I mean, she loves defending the end.
I mean, do you think the Harvey thing, there's anything behind it? Or you really just think she's a contrarian there?
Yeah.
No, I think he's a scumbag. You have people who knew him and what he was operating under. They was a scumbag. And then like he constantly talked about he used in his private Mossad intelligence group, and then I think it was Nick Kroll's dad. That's the craziest part. I always talk about like how like it's really crazy that Steve Renazizi gets all the shit about 9/11 and Nick Kroll doesn't from the show The League. You know, it's like, oh, Steve Renazizi, bad guy. Nick Kroll's dad and his brother conveniently didn't go to work that day at the Twin Towers. Like, how lucky are they that they didn't show up that day? I mean,
I think there's a good question though. So Harvey Weinstein's a dirtbag. Was there violations of law that were proven? I didn't follow that case closely enough.
But it goes back to like Monica Perez talks about Bill Cosby, being the guy that he's been made out to be.
That wouldn't be hard to swallow.
She's talked about. She's like,
well, he made a deal with one of the victims, and as part of that deal, they were not allowed to prosecute him for what they ended up prosecuting him for. So they were in violation of it. So he should not have gone to jail because he had already made a deal. So it wasn't like he was like a good guy.
Is that what she's saying?
Well, her argument is that like Quaaludes back then were like Coke, and everybody wanted them.
Yeah.
But it wasn't just Quaaludes, right?
So funny.
No, they're basically spiking their drinks with Quaaludes.
Oh, another thing that Adam Lanza's dad said that I thought was funny. He was like, and we took him to see Bill Cosby. He loved him. That was also in his interview.
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
No, I'm
I
serious.
didn't realize that. That is so funny. Yeah. I know XG, you asked like this as far as the being willing to sacrifice your own child. Like that came up specifically with this individual who honestly, she testified in the 50s, named Claudia Mullen, and it blew me away because I just kind of like discovered this strange connection to during that period in the early and mid 50s. There seemed to be this dilemma that was honestly the intelligence community was effectively grappling with at this time, and it was essentially about. Obviously, they were already pursuing and practicing and utilizing these sort of deviant sexual practices for human honeypot operations. But this was specifically about using child prostitutes in that sort of framework, right? And so it seems as if there was an additional subproject. We already know the 149 subprojects of MKUltra that existed, one of them being obviously to manufacture Manchurian candidates and split personality spies that could pass polygraph tests after committing various crimes, even targeted assassinations, and have no real recall or memory of it. Similar to that of Sirhan, who came out of the trance after performing the monkey routine, had zero memory of doing so. And the psychiatrist was like, this is I've never seen anyone that has been so suggestible as far as psychologically, which to him sort of the implication was that he had been hypnotized and put into this trance to be programmed with subliminals many, many times in the past. Right. And that's what that sort of they were alluding to in that sentiment. But what's fascinating to me is that when the church committee hearings took place, right, in 75, right, you have Richard Helms in 72 essentially destroying thousands of files. Now, this all was, I believe, in regard to utilizing child prostitutes for human honeypot operations. And I believe that many different files, obviously those would be of priority, top priority as far as the destruction, if you would if you're considering transparency, I already believe that what was provided to William Colby, wasn't it Colby or was it Casey? I can't remember. I think it was Colby who was like the spokesperson on behalf of the agency during the hearings, and he's the one who even trotted out the what was the gun, right, that had essentially it could
Heart attack gun.
the heart attack gun. Yeah, that was it. It was the heart attack gun, and then they also they trotted out this ice. It was kind of like, do what?
The Havana syndrome, is that the other one you're talking about?
No, that was much later.
I think that's later, because the other one that I'm thinking about is like, basically they figured out a way to essentially
targeted individuals shit.
The voice of God.
I mean,
yeah,
we're just it's stuff at this point.
Look, that is definitely a factor, and I discovered that as well. Which, but apparently, this goes back to if you're talking like early on mind control experimentation. It turns out that there's a document from the Artichoke document files, right, that outlines. It's from January 7th, 1953, and it's called Outline of Special H Cases, which to me is hypnotism cases, right?
Yeah.
And because in the context of the document, it says in all of these cases, these subjects have clearly demonstrated that they can pass from a fully awake state to a deep H-controlled state via the telephone.
Jesus.
This is in 53.
It's diabolical.
It's so crazy.
They're not going to spend 20 years doing MK Ultra experiments and then just stop.
Yeah,
That's
it's
Chapman,
like, why
right?
would you give up that
100%.
power?
That's Chapman, like you were saying. That's 100% what he had, where they would do the phone calls with him.
He shoots John Lennon and just sits down and reads Catcher in the Rye.
Yeah,
like waiting to be apprehended by the authorities.
Through the YMCA, which has always been a front for the CIA. You know, it goes again. The connections between intelligence and the Vatican, and how they realize, why should we have a military everywhere when we'll just open these churches and YMCA's all over the place? Send in people as religious figures like priests and stuff, when they're really just intelligence agents.
All those old naked men in the YMCA bathroom?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember one time when I used to go to the Y, I walk in, it was just this one naked old guy, and he was just literally washing his balls in the sink when the shower was 2 feet away. The shower was 2 feet away. And he was just like, yeah, just washing my balls. That's all I'm doing.
Oh, my God. Well, knowing how all of these youth organizations are strategically, exploited by these sinister, it's like, man, Nick Bryant's been following Lawrence E. King around for decades now, trying to blow the whistle, and all of these different child care organizations that he just so happens to surface in the midst of, attempting to surround himself with
easily accessible children. Which again, it's like, man, Laura Silby, same thing, dude. Got it. Got arrested, tried, convicted, and Bill Clinton came in, got her out, and what'd she do? She went right to Florida and joined their version of Amber Alert. Exactly. So now you got somebody in there that is there when the call comes in that a kid is missing. What a great way to just divert that whole mission to save them.
Oh, and the other one that I looked into was Dare. Dare was obviously set there to learn about drugs. Like, if you look into it, they knew that statistically showing us about drugs wasn't going to keep us away from drugs. And they didn't care. They ran with it. And as you can tell, they're still around.
Yeah. I mean, it's stupid.
Did you have that?
James Holmes was on the same generic for Zoloft that Adam Lanza was, and Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold. And beyond that, I think that, you clearly have so many other aspects of the case. Like, he becomes a patient of a specific psychiatrist just before he drops out of school and then commits the shooting. Now, what did he and Adam Lanza both refer to their psychiatrist as?
What?
The mind rapist.
Oh my God.
That's what they referred to him.
They both said that?
They both, the exact same dude. I'm not bullshitting. This is the crazy.
There's a book called The Mind Rapist about propagandists and shit.
Now, I know it wasn't the same guy, but I'm almost positive Adam Lanza was sexually abused and by his psychiatrist, by his therapist. And that makes sense because it's the monarch mind control playbook. You fracture off the neurological pathways are disrupted in the mind of a prepubescent child. And essentially, this is how you create the multiple personality disorder and exploit DID in a victim. Dissociative identity disorder, they fracture off into alters to essentially, endure the sinister torture that obviously is being practiced upon them.
They get really into Ron Paul.
And apparently they can. It's ridiculous.
I mean, that is one of the surest signs that you're up to no good, right? Okay. So, John, are you guys ready to get your mind blown?
Let's do it.
Even more than it is, if you have any mind left to blow. Okay. So, at Columbine, they had a crazy program that I just found out about. You want to tell us about it, Austin?
Yes, sir. I would love to, honestly.
Absolutely. This fits into the last episode that's going out on Wednesday.
Okay.
It's so crazy. What is it?
It is insane, honestly. And when you realize that obviously you have now I just want to build it up for a moment because essentially you have Eric Harris's father, a decorated Air Force officer. Essentially he was relocating all over the country just before he retired. But again, it's like he was in the U.S. Air Force and essentially was a part of some of its most important projects, and even the B-1 bomber, I believe he was affiliated with. Sue Klebold, Dylan's mother, I had mentioned that she had heard that military documents on brainwashing techniques had been found in the Harris home, right, the home of Wayne Harris, and so there's additional research that points to essentially Plattsburgh Air Force Base, where the Harris family was located for a time. This was apparently specifically when Harris was drafted into behavior modification programs that were underway at the Plattsburgh Air Force Base. Now, it is one of the covert hubs of many of these domestic operations. And again, it fits the model of like the Fort Braggs of the world, right? Yeah. That clearly seem to. There are so many different scandals that are handled internally, right? Where, I mean, we were talking absolute unaccountable murders, with no real motive attached, and it's very strange when you look into this. But Littleton, Colorado, was the hometown, obviously, of both Harris and Klebold, and so this happens to be where Lockheed and Martin have a major factory, which ordered. It's interesting because this was ordered to be constructed in the 1950s. And essentially, you had all of these rocket and satellite contracts with classified government projects that were taking place at this specific location in Littleton, Colorado. And so this is when it gets very interesting, because it was like in 1990 when you had ABC run a 2020 like special edition report.
This is crazy.
It's fascinating. They run this special edition report about a decade before, obviously, the Columbine massacre takes place, and it was concerned with death education. And it says that it was an experimental teaching program that sought to inform students in the subject of dying and the many spiritual and psychedelic theories on what happens after death. Now, among the schools interviewed as participants in the experiment was Columbine High School, and that's where this episode was featured at, which is fascinating to me because, and I'll provide some additional sort of extraordinary allegations that were made about kind of like a degenerate sort of curriculum that was being pursued and practiced at Columbine leading up to this, where you have members of, there was a Columbine survivor named Mark Taylor who told his mom that basically he saw at school, he saw the open use of drugs, right? He saw classes consisting of just watching MTV, teachers coaching students on how to have better sex, and discussion of witchcraft is what he tells his mom, suggesting possible links to basically covert operations involved in occult trauma programming, which to me, I know that sounds outlandish, but if you consider the McMartin preschool trials that took place and how much that was obviously a part of what was being conducted in the underground tunnels, which were clearly later on proven to exist. But Mark Taylor also claims, again, remember, Columbine survivor, that obviously the shooters, and this was later confirmed, were on this specific SSRI. This one was called Luvox, right, which is similar to Prozac. And then in 2008, you have Mark Taylor, the Columbine survivor, who's making these allegations, chemically lobotomized and institutionalized in Aspen after an alleged mental breakdown in a bookstore.
Oh,
it's
my
crazy.
God.
Yes, they say that he had
in a bookstore.
Yeah, that
do you know the circumstances surrounding that?
No, I don't know. I'm gonna have to dig further into this. I was very much considering covering Columbine in my upcoming solo project because it's too much. I've been wanting to for too long, and I'll have to do that Columbine first before I can cover Sandy Hook at some point. But because
don't
it just
say
makes
that
more
word. Don't
sense
say
that
those
way.
words, dude.
How dare
I know.
you?
It is.
Lost our website from by talking about Sandy Hook. It's crazy.
The
third rail,
Zoom
buddy.
just went out. The Zoom went out. No, I'm kidding.
I'll never forget. Was it Robbie Parker? Wasn't that his name? The one of the parents there
That started
at,
laughing
Newtown?
before he was interviewed.
And he just goes, he's like pumping himself up like he's about to have to go live, right? And,
Yeah,
he's just laughing, having a conversation. Then just before he goes on to do a segment on the news, he's like, it seemed like what you would do if you were trying to prep yourself for an acting role.
100%.
Never mind the photo of the kid and the shooting in like another country. It was the same kid in the.
Oh yeah.
They had all the kids that died. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
we showed
faces.
We showed that photo on our website. We just said, "What's up with this?" And our entire website got taken down.
Wow.
So basically, what you're saying here, Austin, is that the school was basically teaching that death is cool. Death's cool, man. And what was the name of the program that they called it?
All right, so this was called the Death Education Program.
Wow.
And this was, you had like a crazy example of a former Columbine student in 1985 by the name of Tara Becker, she was at a pro-family conference in Colorado, and she was giving a speech, basically, and she provided this testimony where she reports that she had a booklet that she had helped to compile for one of her school classes, basically, and this booklet was called Masquerade, and it was full of subliminal pictures and prose. And Tara explained how she had been taught to use the hidden double meaning subliminals, and how she had focused so much of her time and attention on death that she herself had tried to commit suicide. Oh my God. And so it's fascinating because basically Tara's testimony, if you consider the idea that the producers of 2020, essentially this is what caused them allegedly to go do this special segment on the Death Education Program, which aired in 1990, right? And they hosted this segment at the Columbine High School. And so essentially what you had this individual where Tara Becker, right, this former Columbine student, she explains that the subject of death was integrated into many of the courses at her high school. She said that death was made to look glamorous, that living was hard, and that reincarnation would solve their problems. Students were told that they would always return to, isn't that nuts, man? Students were told that they would always return to a much better life form. They would return to the oversoul and become like God. After one of the students, I know, this is like, seriously, how was this not just a sort of priority in terms of the coverage? Obviously, we know
these
why,
are public school teachers,
right? Yeah, but I'm beginning to find that some of these school districts are entirely compromised. And
yes,
I'm also under the impression that again, look, I'm dead serious. I think there could very well be just credibility to the idea that there are sort of these intelligence communities that exist, right, around the domestic U.S.
Local politics are easy to capture.
Especially seeing that the internet made us focus on Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
People stopped reading their local newspapers. So now, like, they were going to get rid of the local newspaper in my hometown, Cortland Standard, and this company from Ithaca bought it, and now they're making you pay to get it's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. It's basically on a it's almost its own Substack at this point, which is super stupid because nobody's going to ever do that. I mean, even though we used to pay for newspapers back in the day, but it was really, really a little bit of money, not a lot. You're going to make people pay $5 to get. It's like crazy to me, but people stop reading their local news, and I also gotta say that, like, and I realized this a long time ago, even before I got into tinfoil hat the show, that the real damage that is done isn't necessarily just the nightly news in terms of like nationally. It is your local news station that is pushing and pumping so much propaganda.
Parrots.
Yeah.
They get funded by these Google News initiative, all these initiatives that just link them to the mainstream media, and they're just a little bit of a different variety of what you're getting from the MSM.
It's crazy, dude.
Yeah, and I mean to like sort of just like really the last note on the death education program that I found was fascinating was that obviously she began to claim that. Well, first of all, it was the oversoul notion was very interesting. Become like God. That to me feels occult in nature. You think Temple of Set, the black the eternal black flame, which is allegedly this sort of belief system that you yourself can become your own God, right? And it's all it's a very strange. And Michael Aquino was
part of the education.
No, the oversoul part, yes. But I was just saying that it felt occult in nature, that specifically becoming your own God, right? Yeah. Becoming like God. And it fits the pattern of the New Age, I believe the New Age esoteric ideological system of control. That's what it truly is. It was designed for this purpose. It was to effectively, sort of lay the groundwork for the general public to embrace this inverted moral framework, right? Where these inverted moral values, right? And essentially embrace this upside down kind of more. It's a society that is clearly a deliberate, strategic sort of operation of degradation, right?
To separate from God and family and make people vulnerable so they can be controlled by those who are manipulated.
I mean, even though AA has saved my life and it's an amazing program, if you study the history of AA, the Rockefellers funded it. And you get into, one of the one of the first couple steps is coming to an understanding of a God of your choice. And I understand why they do that, because some people come in with a real problem with God. So they're kind of saying like, just believe in something. I totally get that. But that is occultic.
Absolutely. And you consider who was the founder of the Temple of Set. It was Michael Aquino. And what did he co-write? He co-authored that very book. It's called Mind War and the Psychology of Victory, right? As far as this came up in the Omar Mateen episode that I covered, which is crazy, but I started with From PSYOP to Mind War, the Psychology of Victory, which he co-authored as the PSYOP research and analysis team leader, which is crazy. But again, he was former high-ranking member of Anton LaVey's Church of Satan, right? And understanding that clearly you would want to create these sort of out of whole cloth. If you're the intelligence agencies, you would want to create these sort of occult organizations to administer and sort of, I think, usher through these
pipeline.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's another way you can kind of like one, if you're considering the effect that would have on the general public, if you claim that there are connections to this sort of occult organization, at face value, people seem to sort of turn a blind eye to those allegations because they already seem extraordinary. And that feels by design as well to a certain, at least there's a certain element there. Yeah.
Yeah, they create this framework of society that people live within and things that are outside of it that they would never believe because they themselves would never do them, which enables those who are in power to operate completely outside of them and do them all of the time.
Yep. That's exactly what it is. I would never do that because I would never do it. Bill Clinton would never do it. Barack Obama would never do it. George Bush would never do it.
An army of kids aren't crawling into my bed because I'm so sexy.
Yeah.
That guy.
Just crawling in wanting it. It's just crazy to me. It's a psychological warfare on children because they're most susceptible. And, you know, again, if you get into, you know, sending in cross-dressers to read to kids, like that's done purposefully to kind of confuse children. Because children, I mean, here's the thing, dude. It's just like when the evil of like a child pornography, dude. It's so gross. It's so gross because those kids can't say no. They're just physically can't fight back. If you have a kid who's 5 years old, you go to bed. Guess what that kid has to do? Go to bed. Because if not, you're gonna pick up your child. Go. It's time to go to bed. Put them in their room. Close the door. They can't. They can't. They can't fight back. So you have these scumbags who can't talk to adults, so they have to talk to kids, just physically imposing themselves on them. It's so gross. It's so gross.
Definitely. I think
and parents can be oblivious to it as well. Like, it seems like some people are so obviously predators, but they get so distracted that they don't even recognize the situation their kids might be in.
Well, I always say, if you're a grown man, you have and you're creating child entertainment and you don't have kids, that is very weird.
Cash Patel's book, dude.
That's the same thing. That's the same thing with Disney adults.
Yeah, who go there?
Who just go. I don't care if it's you and your girlfriend. If you don't have kids, why are you there?
Nerd.
It is strange for sure.
It is really weird. You know, because a lot of guys get into entertainment because they want to get chicks. They think it's a great way to get women. So if you're a grown-up adult, and why are you making kids programs?
Yeah. I mean, that's the same with Paul Rubens, right? It's clearly troubled guy.
100%, and he just like gives it away. And like it's so crazy how if you watch that thing, we've talked about it, Johnny. The first episode is kind of fluffy and
I almost couldn't get through. I was like, oh, this is boring. Who cares?
Yeah, and then the second one is dark because he won't participate in it. So the director gets to do the doc he wanted to do without Paul Rubin, stopping him left and right, and it's a way different vibe. And, it's just like, dude, when you tell me that you purposefully put in homoerotic stuff into your kid's show, that says to me anything's on the table.
Oh, so with kids' show, do you think it should just all be animated?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
No. I'm just asking because it's like when you have who's that? Dan Schneider, all that your adults are around kids. Who's recording?
Oh, okay, I get what you're saying.
You say if it was just all animated, you would avoid a lot of that if it's just all animated.
Yeah, you still have to have voice talent, though. And I mean, most of them are women that pretend to be little boys, but I don't.
I just don't.
But even then, like the Rescuers, that Disney film from back in the day, dude, you see that we just talked about it on Already Dead on Tuesday. There's when we showed the clip, you can pause it, and it's so quick. It's subliminal messaging for children. You see tits in a window. And as the mice are like coming down this I forget they're like
it's
coming
Fight
down
Club.
a staircase.
Getting that dick in. That's Fight Club.
If I'd have known that when I was a kid about Disney, I would have been looking at channel 99 and 69 through the white noise all the time. I would have been going to Disney to find the tits.
Well, I mean,
no, I'm with you, dude.
Well, what do you guys think about the whole Roblox with Chris Hansen and all that shit's getting
That's crazy, dude.
I don't know anything about that. What is
but he goes back to what they were saying earlier about like sending intelligence agencies in the stuff.
What is it? Roblox and Chris Hansen?
Yeah.
Roblox is having a problem.
What? Chris Hansen is busting people on Roblox?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of guys busting, and they're getting kicked off of Roblox.
No, so there's this kid.
Getting kicked off.
Yeah.
So there's this kid that's a vigilante technically, and he has like.
He's a kid?
No, well, he's like 19, 20, and I guess he on Roblox got into some like pedo stuff with his mom, whatever. So he becoming a vigilante, and he started getting these predators and. Roblox literally did an assist and a sue or whatever, where they literally came at him and sued him for using their platform and doxing it because obviously it's showing that there's a problem on Roblox and they don't like it, so they sued the kid.
Cease and desist. I got
And
you.
everybody.
So what the problem is that Roblox need to have certain amount of users on there to get funding from to have people keep investing in the game. So literally, if you get rid of all the pedos,
dude,
it all goes away.
They got the numbers behind the scene. They know, like, hey, 10% of our audience is pedophiles.
So-
we got to keep those.
so my
It's
daughter-
dating apps, dude. Dating apps. They found that they're all
Terrible.
it's all bots and dudes on there, and they don't kick off the bots because they need the women, the fake women. To,
Well, that was the thing
to
with
keep the
Ashley
app alive.
Madison, right?
Yeah, and it's
Ashley
the same with the
Madison, a
others,
woman
so.
would go there, set up a profile, get freaked out, get off it, but they would zombify it. And there's this thing that even Twitter does it all the time. I guarantee you, there
Bots.
are
AI bots.
a dead Twitter accounts that are just sitting there and they wait a certain amount of time. If you haven't used it, they zombify it, right? They zombify it and then they use it to troll people.
Or they just make fake ones.
Or they make fake ones, yeah. But my daughter likes playing Roblox, and we're on her left, and we're like, "What's that? What's that? What's that?"
Yeah.
And she and Dana goes, do you talk to anybody on the game? She goes, "I have a friend on there," and we go, "What?" They go, "I have a friend in there." I go, "What does that mean? Show me." She goes, "Oh, this character follows me all around everywhere." I go, "Hey, can you communicate with him?" She goes, "Yeah." I threw this sign. I go, "Give me it." And I wrote, "I'm the character's father in real life. If you continue following my daughter, I'll find you and kill you."
Yeah.
And he ran off.
It's such a vulnerable. So it's a place where they can go and predators can go find the most amount of vulnerable children without supervision in these places like Roblox.
Yeah. And the fact that Roblox is letting it happen, it's going to be a giant lawsuit, and we should sue them into the effing ground. Just sue them the shit out of it.
This is the problem, though. Like if people haven't already realized at this point that we are surrounded by this strange culture of elite that are entirely protected and completely insulated from any real accountability, as long as they belong to the overarching network, because that's what it is. This very well established underworld.
You mean financiers? Awesome.
Yeah, the individual on the ground, like the peasant, say. They'll occasionally catch a charge, right?
Yeah.
But even then, it's difficult to charge just child sex crimes in general, which is fascinating. How many
those are the
measures in place.
scapegoats? So they capture those, and then they go,
and
FBI caught these. So it looks like they're doing something.
And it pacifies everybody.
Yeah.
100%.
Exactly.
And there are all these autistic guys that look like they don't know how to talk to anybody in society. And they're probably, I'm not justifying, I'm not saying it's okay. Throw them the but I guarantee you they're lonely. They don't know how to talk to anybody, and they finally got somebody talking to them, and they just do the unthinkable, and then they get thrown in jail, and it really doesn't change anything.
And they've learned about sex through their entire lives because they've been closed off watching guys walk up to doors with a hole in the bottom of a pizza box.
Yep.
It's sausage pizza, and that's how they interact with nothing but just creepiness.
Yep. And it's freaking gross, and they're trying to normalize it. They really are trying to normalize it. That guy Scott Wiener, who is a politician in California, decriminalized anal with a minor because he says it is homophobic. Yeah.
My God, that's some NAMBLA sort of tactic, right? Where
and they just keep voting him in. Who's running against you? That they can't beat the guy who goes, dog. Everybody, he legalized anal against minors. He made it legal. Why?
That's all you need to say to win.
That would literally be the debate. Okay, we got Scott Wiener versus Sam Tripoli in debate. Miss Tripoli opening statements. This guy made it legal to do anal with minors. Throw down the mic, walk the.
Even the Reuters has like a debunk where they say this claim is false. The bill is intended to reform the state's sex offender registry to be fairer to young LGBT adults. Like, it's literally what you said.
Young
They're just
LGBT
saying,
adults. What's a young LGBT? What's a young adult? What's a young adult?
What they're saying is like a 22-year-old guy hooks up with like a 16-year-old boy. They're gonna do anal, and because that's his sexuality. He shouldn't be punished for that. And you're like, no.
Yeah, of course you should.
No, it's like like he says, normalizing that type of stuff among young people. It's like the old school when it was like somebody being charged with statutory. They were 17, their girlfriend was 16, but now it's just like we don't want the people who are anally probing children to be wrongly charged.
Yeah. It's crazy.
So they legitimately utilize children in the context of the operation as procurers for the adult, and then they usually force them to take part in the abuse sessions as well. But they kind of will have like key priority victims that they'll have run roughshod over the other victims and sort of help condition them after being abducted and to where they will be more compliant in this sort of situation. And also, I remember Paul Benassi claiming after they abducted, he and Lawrence E. King abducted a child, and I believe it was in Colorado, and then essentially, or it could have been Vegas, either one, and then flew to San Francisco, got a director with an advanced professional camera, and they were going to then record, obviously, child pornography, which then was escalated into a snuff film. Jesus. Which apparently on the flight, the child was obviously freaking out and entirely, kind of distraught. And Paul Benassi was the victim who was running roughshod over the other victims and helping with the procurement operation. And he claims he was a part of the Johnny Gosch abduction as well, providing the chloroform, like luring him toward the. So you had a grown man walk out of a bush, right, and have a conversation with Johnny, and then Paul Benassi sort of lures him over to close to a van, and then three men jump out and chloroform him and put him in the van. That's basically what happened. And but still, when what did he say whenever he was on that private plane with Lawrence E. King and he was conditioning the victim? He was asking him, "Have you ever had a sexual experience?" This is a child under the age of 10 years old, right? Like. And of course, like, just imagine.
So how does Benassi get to walk around? Like, I've had him on my show. Right? I didn't know any of this.
Dude, it's crazy. Paul Benassi was even the one who claimed that he was there at the foundation of NAMBLA, which I thought was insane, in Boston, Massachusetts, with the Catholic clergy. And if you believe what Kathy O'Brien claims, obviously, right, they're very much pivotal in the context of providing children and utilizing these sort of child care organizations and underneath the umbrella of the Catholic Church to procure sort of children who have no real protectors in place or guardians. And then, it's another way to sort of access untraceable children who have no real, individuals following up on their well-being. And of course,
that was
Paul
Jared
Benassi,
from Subway. She doesn't have any parents.
Yeah.
It's exactly so dark. I can't even look in.
Yeah.
It's so upsetting to me. I just want to go and just vigilante everything.
Dude, that's what they target the vulnerable. One of the things Epstein funded, this guy Lawrence Crofts through Arizona State University, he funded this program, he created the Origin Project, and he put this guy he controlled, or whoever controlled Epstein, as the head of it, and it was a celebrity scientist symposium, and it led the culture. It ushered in the culture of trust the scientists. It was an aggressively anti-religion, anti-family organization designed to separate children from their parents and from God, and to have them glorify the scientists to trust so that they could capture them through these celebrity scientists.
Yeah.
I know with like the NAMBLA connection, the reason that it reminded me of like the tactics of NAMBLA, right? Just the North American Man-Boy Love Association normalizing. Like, by the way, the reason I mentioned on whatever this is on Monday, just the sort of Nick Fuentes and Destiny connection there, because they legitimately, Destiny was sitting next to Nick Fuentes, and he says that essentially they asked him why he was like hanging out with children, right? And he said, or like 10-year-olds, I think. Let me find it real quick, because it's crazy. And he said 10-year-olds are hot. Nick Fuentes just reacts. He starts laughing his ass off and says how based it is. Yeah, here it is. Destiny says, children are hotter than adults. And Nick Fuentes says, based. Let's go. That's why we love Destiny. That's why we love this guy. And I was just like,
I'm out on Nick Fuentes. I'm out on him.
Right. Like that just disgusted me personally, seeing something like that. But again, to me, the way that I look at like the warring factions of the alternative media personalities, it seems like they all receive this upward mobility with their sort of like it almost feels like kayfabe, right? They're at odds now, and now everyone's prioritizing this as some sort of we need to cover the fact that Candace Owens and Nick Fuentes are not getting along.
Oh, you found it, Johnny?
That's why we love him. That's why we love this guy.
I don't know who Destiny is. I don't get why he has a following.
Sorry, Brad. He found the clip.
Did you want me to show that video?
Yeah, can you find it?
Oh yeah, I have it right here. I can.
Yeah, if you want to share it, yes, share it. I was going to play it.
Okay. Sorry, Brad. I didn't mean to.
Can you bring it up? If you can share.
Yeah, I'll
it
share right now. Hold on.
And not trying to defend Nick at all, but is this
if you don't
super
have it
old?
at hand, I can send it to you in the chat.
Is this super old? Because according to him, he's changed. He's not as crazy as he is. That's why Candace and them have him on and shit.
It could be a while ago. It does look.
He does look young. He looks super young right there, actually.
Did I share that right? I don't even know what I'm doing.
He's also though hung out with that Sammy Davis Jr. Big Chin guy that got busted with doing some stuff. I mean, you're right. People do grow, but
you just got to make sure you hit share sound when you shared it. You might have to go back and
for
share.
real?
Yeah, share sound before you hit share.
Okay, my bad.
Now, have you heard that Sneeko's really?
Who?
Sneeko?
I don't know.
That young influencer. He's just like a troll. Like, I'm surprised you've seen him. If you've seen his face, you'll know exactly who it is.
Dude, I'm
gonna reshare this real quick.
He produced Kanye's Cuck album.
Oh yes, okay. I saw him all with Kanye in an interview. Yeah.
Okay, there. I think I did it right this time.
All right, here it is.
Yeah, this is crazy to me.
Hang out with children.
Well, they're hotter. Based. Let's go. That's why we love him. That's why we love this guy.
Well,
they're hotter.
I mean, like, how much can you play into that? It's like, is that really a joke? I don't know.
At what point do we go, Destiny, you're gone? Like, at what point?
Who is he?
He's a weirdo.
Nobody goes to the IDF in Israel, tell him, hey, dude, stop filming yourself. Stop filming your war crimes. Like, at some point, it's no longer a joke.
Right. And Destiny's accused of like, what, sharing with an underage girl, right? 17-year-old, but still, it's like, she's an underage girl. You're sexting and sharing. That's an issue.
Why do people like him? How did he get a following?
He's a streamer. I'm reading it right here. It says he quit his job as a carpet cleaner to stream video games full time. He was streaming StarCraft 2 matches on livestream.com and all the streaming websites. And I think he just got big doing that.
But it's also
he went to
like,
a Jesuit
why
academy.
him? Well, yeah, there we go. There we go. Jesuit academy.
Of course.
It's like, what is the name of the black female comic? What is her name? She's like talks really hood. She's
Queen Latifah?
Wanda?
No, Wanda Sykes.
Oh yeah.
Straight up NSA openly admits it. Been to Jeffrey Epstein's island.
Of all the people too. Like I would never guess.
No, it totally makes sense.
Right. No, but I mean just her whole hood thing, you wouldn't think the government's going out looking for hood people, but I guess they are.
Why? That's what they love to push is hood, degenerate, can't speak good English.
Just think of
this comes from a guy that can't speak good English, by the way.
So the average G-man, you don't think of Wanda Sykes, you know what I mean?
Tupac.
But you go, okay, this is what they do, dude. Everything is data. They're studying everybody, anybody in the NSA, CIA. 100%. Hey, man, if you're cool and you're funny and you're quick, okay, let's push him into the entertainment world. Let's blow him up. Destiny's a Jesuit. He's like kind of quick. He's got opinions. Push him out. I mean, we're just starting to find that every one of these people that are huge, that really, even like, it's like even some of the guys who got canceled, though. Like, but they're canceled now. They're back. They're back, what is the connection to, like people are talking about Nick Fuentes and his connections to Roger Stone. Right.
Crazy. And he's a weird guy too. And Roger Stone had Get Me Roger Stone, the Netflix show, if you've seen that, where he's just very open about his political dirty tricks. Everything is a PR stunt right now. Like that is how you get to where you are. Like you are conducting PR stunt operations, competing, and society's like an experimental testing lab, and it's never been easier. Like you talked about data, Sam, to collect that data to then test and exploit that data immediately in modern society.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, I think that honestly, just the fact that like Roger Stone, Roy Cohn, that they're very similar in certain ways, and I think it's important.
They're both gay,
right? And what Nancy Reagan was specifically trying to seek like advanced medical treatment on behalf of Roy Cohn, who's dying of AIDS allegedly.
Right,
which is just too funny.
So
because
interesting about that is because you guys have thrown those on a thing, but I hope you guys are still there. Is that even if you kind of watch the chick who was the head of YouTube, like she dies of turbo cancer, right? Like, did she take it? Did she take it? And then they just, hey, yeah, we got to keep the narrative going, and whoever gets sacrificed. So Ray Cohen. Nobody ever came in and goes, hey, dude, get off the AZT, dude. Ray Cohn, get off the AZT. Roy Cohn. Thank you. Roy Cohn. Roy Cohn. Get off the AZT, dude. Get off it.
Who's Ray?
Ray's my brother. You know,
Dude,
but they're like, get
Roy
off
Cohn.
the AZT, dude. Like Magic Johnson, dude. He got off it. That's why he's a fat billionaire right now.
You think he ever got it?
Who?
AZT? He actually took it?
I know. I think somebody pulled him aside way early and like, get off that thing. That's what's killing everybody.
I mean, that guy could have died from a million things. He was into some crazy shit.
Who?
How about his kid too? He's like the same height. He's the only one who could have played basketball.
Syphilis.
No, what about his like trans kid that's just like a Nephilim trans?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's like
Roy Cohn has a giant trans kid?
No, Magic Johnson does.
I was about to say, like, what the fuck?
I mean, the biggest gay you've ever seen in your life.
That's hilarious.
You think he could have played ball if he would have wanted to?
I mean, he's super tall.
Yeah,
Huge.
He's super
He
tall.
could dominate the WNBA.
But I was talking about those
Yeah, I mean,
Minnesota
so
cheerleaders, dude. Those male cheerleaders. They must be getting all the download dick, dude. I mean,
They got one of the Patriots has one now too, just as fruity as the
I mean, dude, they must be getting all the DL dick, dude. All those download brothers who are tired of banging chicks are like, dude, because those guys are so shiny. They're so shiny.
pretending to be watching the girls, you know.
No, dude.
All the NFL Dwight Howards they're getting.
Which is why he's not in the NBA anymore.
Is every team going to have one by the end of the next season?
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. But the NBA is going to fight. I personally don't care. I know people get angry at that. Cheerleaders are gay. It's stupid. We don't need
They
it
should
there.
get rid of cheerleaders. Yeah, that's
I mean,
the
we
thing.
don't. It was hot when we didn't have Instagram and tits in our face all the time. Now it's like, oh man, we got to remember to play defense. We got to.
Dude, I can see
Thank
more.
you, hot chick, who's like the team's down 40 points and they're in the camera all excited. It's like
No, but and if you really want to, just find out who that cheerleader is. You can see more on her OnlyFans than you ever will.
Or you can see more in the row in front of you. All the chicks go out in public now with their ass.
That's
hanging
why
out.
strip bars are dying. Why am I going to a strip bar where I got to throw women money to fake like they like me when I can go to a nightclub and have women fake that they like me, but I got a chance to at least bring them home?
You can go on PlayStation and play simulators and have women fake that they like. In college football 2025, they had male cheerleaders for some of the teams, which is a weird.
Well, there's always
feature to
been
include.
male cheerleaders. There's always been the guy that lifts them, but we've
Not
never
them,
had the
it was the
one
gay
with
ones they had.
the pom poms looking shiny, dude.
Yeah.
I mean shiny.
Great dancer.
Great.
And they have the OnlyFans simulator too. They're bringing it out on PlayStation. I think I told you guys about that. If you want to read something really funny, go read the description of that, where it's like rags to riches. Do you have what it takes to make it? Respond to high profile clients, and we're just like, you're going to be getting these AI dirty messages that your character is going to be replying to. It's crazy.
How long to trans cheerleader?
I mean, they're really close. I mean, this
Sooner the
is
better.
close, dude.
The technology. We have the technology.
I mean, it's going to be there.
You toss dildos at them too. It's going to be fun. Maybe some flashlights.
So I heard that was for the what was it, the green dildo token? It was actually for promoting a new digital currency, a cryptocurrency.
I wish I'd known about that.
Well played.
I know.
I'm
right?
trying
I
to
was
make
like,
a mobile
holy
app game of it, and I can't. Every platform I use tells me I can't do it. So literally, there's an OS called OF instead of OnlyFans simulator on PlayStation. Every single platform I've tried to make the dildo tossing game for the WNBA, it won't let me do it because it's inappropriate.
In America,
That's so
guys.
funny.
In America. Guys, great episode. I know we can go 15 more hours if you wanted to. But again, if you want to check out our premium content, it's called Whatever This Is. It's available on each of our premium content. These guys are the best in the business. They have some of the best research out there. Real quick, one more time, Austin, tell them where they can find you.
Yeah, man. You guys definitely check out the Underclass podcast. I just did an episode on the James Holmes cinema shooting, obviously with Radix Verum, who she's great. She's such a great resource, and I had covered it.
We need to get
it's been about 2 years since then. I think that, or at least 2 years since I covered it personally on my own podcast. But again, it's like there are so many details, right? And I had mentioned the mind rapist and the therapist and everything else. I mean, it's absolutely incredible the things that he claimed to have happened, obviously, and effectively the only thing I wanted to mention before I give my plugs is basically he had essentially claimed that he had to go through with his mission or he would be suicided, and that was a part of his journal, right? Which he was obviously. This is James Holmes, and I wanted to show you the revelation of the method of the 1986. I pulled the 2 pictures of a comic book from 1986, and I just wanted you guys to see it because it looks like it's directly a window into revelation of the method, and this was some sort of like.
Us. This is like when a black comedian introduces you. His intro has like 15 jokes in it that he didn't get out to. No, I love you. I'm just. It's hilarious.
Is that
anyways? But you find me here. But one more thing, real quick. But
I can't help it, dude.
No,
I can't help it.
You're a machine, dude. You're a machine. Here.
I'm sorry, man.
Can you show it?
Okay, I'm going to share this. But I have to say this part only because it's fascinating, and it is to fulfill his programming or the kill switch will be triggered. That's how it came off to me. And so he essentially says, this is a part of his journal. He says, basically, can't tell the mind rapist's plan. If plan is disclosed, both normal life and ideal enactment on hatred failed. Then Holmes says, if I told them, then I would be locked up and could not carry out the mission. I had to complete it in order to not suicide. Now, he also claimed that he was being followed by federal agents, right, the FBI, and that at the time of the massacre, and that he had hoped, this is the reason why he paused just before re-entering the cinema, he had hoped that they would apprehend him at the theater before he could carry out his mission. And he had even claimed that he had witnessed vans, right, essentially that were surveilling him.
Yeah.
And he himself had witnessed federal agents who were working on behalf of the FBI, who were effectively a part of that surveillance operation, which does make sense. But when he goes into obviously being mindful and the culture rapists, it's very interesting. And I think it's important, especially because Adam Lanza refers to his therapist as the rapist as well, the mind rapist, It's crazy. And again, it just points to, in my mind, you had a legitimate example of DID playing out. And I intended to actually start the episode by referencing this because you had mentioned the of course, Project Soul Catcher, Dr. Robert Duncan. I found that to be extremely important as far as like the concept of a modern Manchurian and what he claims. Harvard graduate, investigator, and author of that book, Project Soul Catcher. It's interesting. Secrets of Cyber and Cybernetics Revealed. And basically in 2012 is when he reveals that he had been interviewing over 650 people who claimed to have been in under government mind control and in a program that they referred to as Manchurian Candidate ID Program Free. And so then he subsequently goes to the Senate Intelligence Committee and meets with 26 senators, as well as the head of the Los Angeles FBI, and then works on with a consortium of scientists on a research project for over 8 years, providing a closest estimate he could reach, being that there are around 10,000 Manchurian candidates in the works being programmed by the CIA right now that can be used at any time around the world. But he also concluded by explaining that only a small percentage actually become successful Manchurians, allowing the CIA to subvert certain international laws forbidding the agency to engage in the assassination of foreign leaders, through the strategy of indirection or utilizing agency handlers to indoctrinate individuals into these Manchurian candidate programs in order to self-righteously assert plausible deniability after the fact. Dr. Robert Duncan claims that among these alleged mass shooters, James Holmes falls into this Manchurian candidate category as well. And this is when he claims that the ultimate priority is to predominantly manufacture consent for landmark gun legislation, largely encouraging Americans to disarm themselves through a combination of drugs, manipulative psychological techniques, and advanced cybernetics. Clearly, he believes that, honestly, what he claimed was many of the CIA's, at least intended achievements in human behavioral modification research was effectively achieved through this, and that the modern day technology doesn't even require brain implants, but he does claim they work very well. And then he says that they actually rely much more heavily on post-hypnotic suggestion, and that one of their goals obviously being split personality spies so they could pass information without knowing it, pass polygraph tests, use the voice of God technology, even while they're sleeping to obviously program their subjects with subliminals and keep them in dissociative states as they're asleep. And that's fascinating as well. And so I feel like it's most important. This is what he claims, is that often these targets are manipulated through the use of microwave hearing effects or voice transformation, such as that voice of a dead relative, to implant ideas in the subject's mind, which they've already sort of like sophisticated methods of, like, you can actually have an audiobook read by your dead grandmother, that type of
that's crazy.
It is nuts. And so then he ends with the claim that neuroscience has become the modern battleground where war wages on over the control of the human mind, cybernetic warfare. Yeah. And he says the 21st century will be known as the age of spiritual machines and soulless men. And I thought that was like profound, honestly. And then I personally described it as what we're witnessing is obviously the careful and systematic assault being waged on the human psyche, right? And that this was a sort of perfect window into, right, just the complete and total destruction of free will at a certain level, right? And I think that that's ultimately what people need to honestly come to terms with, is that the level of sophisticated techniques that exist and have been pursued for so long at this point, that it's hard to even conceptualize what they're able to accomplish and achieve, right? And again, it's like, imagine if you could pull up and through radio, essentially electromagnetic frequencies, you could subliminally program a priority target to then effectively go and act out their set of instructions in the subconscious mind as they're fracturing into two. I always think of that individual who broke into that Colorado amusement park at night and then just went into the women's restroom and wrote on the mirror basically that he had to suicide himself so he could reject his programming basically. And to me, that fits very perfectly with how many of these individuals waking up like a Tamerlan Tsarnaev of the Boston Marathon bombing, not knowing how he got to certain places, fracturing his mindset. He said his mind was fracturing in two. He couldn't account for all these losses in time. I mean, it makes a lot of sense, obviously. But
do you have the comic book?
Yep, I'm sending it right now. It's actually I had taken the pictures.
Can you share it from your computer?
Do what?
Can you share it from your computer?
Yeah, I can share it.
Yeah, do that.
Okay, and this is crazy because it's I just took the screen caps and then I sent it to my email because there are two specific pictures that I think are very important to actually look at. And again, it's fascinating to actually see. Did I share that properly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
So first of all, hold on. Let me actually pull this because basically you have right here. It says this is what I had sent myself. So specific comic references for James Holmes. Media speculation linked Holmes' actions to specific Batman comics, notably Frank Miller's 1986 The Dark Knight Returns. In this comic, a character named Arnold Crimp commits a mass shooting in a theater after losing his job, drawing these disturbing parallels to Holmes' actions.
Oh my God.
Additionally, Holmes' use of smoke bombs during the shooting also mirrored tactics displayed in the comic. Now this is just a picture. Pull up. I wish I would have cropped it with a picture of James with the orange hair because he dyed his orange hair. Obviously.
Yeah, and everybody thought that was the Joker.
Exactly.
So you think he read that comic?
No, I don't necessarily think that he did. It's definitely possible that he did. I'm trying to make this go away. Hold on. It's fascinating when you try and read through this a little bit because the scene itself is nuts. It says Arnold Kremp fingers the cold steel. Dude, it's such an interesting sort of comic that hold on, let me get this to.
Oh, he's at a theater.
Yeah, he's at a theater. That's where he commits this mass shooting. It's super crazy. And so essentially,
and it's what Satan. There used to be a porno theater near my house, and when I lived on Melrose, just on Santa Monica, and they'd have the name of the Studs. They would have the name of the that were playing, and one was Devil was a Bottom. Devil is a Bottom.
How much was the video? I don't know.
No, it was one of those. Okay, I don't know. We don't know. We've done. What did we do? Bathhouse reviews. That's on another show.
Yeah, we used to do that. Yeah. Well, when my mom first came to visit me here, we were driving down the sidewalk walking down the sidewalk, and she was like, "Oh, that's a lovely theater there. Have you been in?" And I'm like, "No, Mom, have not been in."
I can't tell you about Mom. Anyways, go on. Finish this. Go on.
That's between
you
and Richie.
So basically, it's just. Honestly, I'm going to pull it up on my phone because it's too difficult to read on the screen here because it keeps getting cut off. And I think it's just too important. And I took a picture also of like the Minneapolis mass shooters. He had drawn a picture of like it looks like a Baphomet almost is rising out of basically this sort of crypt. It's very strange, but he himself is like opening the crypt door and allowing him to come forward and rise out of the this is very interesting. He has an AR on his back. But anyway, so this specifically says that Arnold Kremp fingers the cold steel, thinks in his pocket and stares at the movie marquee and does not throw up. He thinks about Led Zeppelin and how they are trying to kill him. He had not known about Led Zeppelin until Father Don on TV had explained it last night. Father Don said that Led Zeppelin hid a prayer to Satan in their song "Stairway to Heaven." They hid it very. They hid it very well. They recorded it backwards, and then he goes on to say that basically Arnold Kremp took the album from the record store where he worked until they fired him that afternoon and transferred Stairway to Heaven to tape. Then he played the tape backwards. He played it 47 times until he was absolutely certain that Father Don was right. But the young girl who was painted like a whore didn't believe him. That was this afternoon in the store. He explained it to her very carefully. She said awful words. He lost his temper and broke the record into 4 pieces that were exactly the same size. The young girl who was painted just like a whore screamed for the manager, and the manager walked out from the back room and wouldn't even listen and fired Arnold Kremp. That was this afternoon in the store. Every morning and evening until tonight, of course, he had walked 6 blocks out of his way to avoid this neighborhood. It's worse than he imagined, and he's holding his gun. Now, there's a spiral symbol that's behind him while he's standing in the midst of individuals in a theater as well that really reminds me of the coded language, right? The coded symbols that they use. And then he says row on row on row on row of pictures of women and words and words and words. He stopped at this one, the one he is in right now, and read the title that did not make him throw up. The title is My Sweet Satan, which is what Arnold Kremp is absolutely certain he heard when he played Stairway to Heaven backwards. Then he seems to go into this instant rage. On the screen, he says, a nun is doing something, and she's painted exactly like a whore. And then it's a picture of a newsman providing a newscast with the bat signal behind him, and it says, 3 slain in Batman-inspired theater shootout, details to follow. But that alone, the imagery, right, the likeness to me in terms of the actual character, and if you look at the sort of strange faces in the background behind the individual perpetrator, right? It's interesting.
Look like mannequins almost.
It does. But again, it's like, what did James Holmes claim he wanted to sort of distance himself from the actual consequences of the deaths taking place. He didn't want to hear the screams or make eye contact whatsoever. He was actually concerned he would have unintentionally harmed a child, which I found
That's why he
very
wore the
interesting.
mask. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm still under the impression that he was programmed to Patsy, standing in a hypnotic trance, waiting to be apprehended by the authorities with a strange stretcher underneath his vehicle. It's very strange. And what did the individual the individual police officer who conducted the arrest, right? His name was Officer Justin Grizzle.
Shit, I was gonna be Israel again.
Right? No, he straight up says that James Holmes just looked at me and smiled, right? And he looked as if his eyes were extraordinarily dilated, is what he claims, right? He didn't seem like he seemed like he was in a trance, which is just so crazy.
I mean, that's the same thing with the Paradise shooting, dude. That same thing with Mark Chapman. The same thing with all these guys. They don't run. They're frozen. They don't know what the just happened. And this is how you manufacture fear in people. I mean, all these serial killers, I think some of you guys came on and talked about, they all have military ties. I mean, it's absolutely insanity, dude. It's all astroturfed fear, dude.
Totally.
Exactly.
Right? It's all astroturfed fear. The craziest part of that comic book is how packed that theater is.
It's a lot of people there.
I know, right?
They're watching pornos.
You need a lot of rags.
A lot of people.
The good old days.
It's always used fear as a tool to manufacture consent for dystopian legislative action, typically. And usually it is landmark gun legislation, right? Which is effectively being pursued even at this moment.
That's all they're doing right now. Is just like, oh, dude, we people want gun laws. And it's so lucky that's on MSNBC and nobody watches that dog shit anymore. So they're like screaming.
MS Now.
Abyss. Yeah, MS Now. Miss Now. Is that the name of the Minnesota Vikings cheerleaders?
Yeah, right.
Miss Now. I got all the DL dick all over the place. Guys, one more time, Austin. Where can they find you? Austin does some devil
I'm so
talks.
sorry. I love you guys, man. I honestly do. And,
No, it's
and
great.
I got nothing
It's
but
great. It's great.
I got nothing but love and respect for you all. You know that. And I'm forever grateful for these opportunities, man. Like it's surreal for me because I've been a major a fan of both Sam and Brad for a long time. So years I've consumed your content, and I've just and for some reason I felt as if we could just have a conversation, we would kind of hit it off, and it would just be a natural, organic kind of relationship that would form. And luckily I was correct on that, honestly. And I think it's mainly has to do with the beautiful intentions. Right. I think that's what matters most. The law of abundance that you practice as well, Sam. All right, I'll shut up, guys. I'm sorry. I'll give my plugs, but I swear, I'm very grateful.
You're just a kind soul, buddy.
You are, dude.
And I love you guys. You are a computer. You are a supercomputer.
You outro like you're giving your final address as leader of the resistance.
This, right? You have a timeline, right? You have a timeline on this timeline, and here's A to Z, right? But each millimeter of that timeline is a little dot, and you press that dot, and it's just a fucking web of more
iceberg,
and a web of more information comes, and then on each little piece of information you click on that, another web comes out, and it's just an infinite spider web of just information. That's how you work, dude. Hey, dude, I talk to myself all day. You go deep dive. We all have something. Brad, one more time, tell them where they can find you.
You're filled with passion too, Austin, which is infectious. Definitely appreciate that. That comic you showed made me think of the Trump villain thing from that 1950s show where there's a Trump character who's a con man who comes to the town as a Western and convinces everybody they need to build a wall because otherwise the world's going to end if they don't build a wall. So crazy. And it's like, who is it? It's Trump. It's like, and there's a guy named Trump going, you better build the wall or you're going to die. It's
His
crazy.
name is Trump in it?
Yeah. Have you not seen that?
Holy shit!
All right, dude.
Heard this. I'm gonna. Crazy, dude.
Yeah, I'll show it to you. I got a clip of it. You want to see it?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. If you haven't seen it,
the never-ending show.
I can't believe you haven't seen this.
No, I've never seen it. Play it. This is crazy.
This reminds me of Broken Sim.
This was like the first time around. Trump.
Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Yeah, we got it.
Oh, let's read it real quick. In a 1958 episode from a Western television series, Trackdown, a con man named Trump, oh my God, comes to town and warns the people that the world will be destroyed. And the only way he can save them is by building a wall.
Damn,
That's amazing.
This is hilarious, dude.
That's the craziest shit ever. Okay, play it.
Did you hit share sound on that?
I hit
It's
share.
a stupid little box you have to check when you share it that I didn't realize either, Brad.
I'm just going to be at a down, with some Western music.
Where's the bot here? I'll share it again. See if I see
Yeah,
the
it's
bot.
just
Yeah,
on
that's
the
what I
right
had to do.
side. It says share sound, a little tick. You have
That's
to.
like the other one. What's the book?
I see it. I see it.
What's the book that Trump's mentioning to where he's gonna be?
The last
That's
president
crazy.
Barron
and
one.
then
Barron,
Baron
yeah.
Trump.
Mm-hmm.
All right. There you
Time
go.
traveler.
Can you guys hear that?
No,
No.
but maybe there's nothing. We don't know.
No.
Trackdown.
Have you shared stuff before? Because if you haven't, you have to like set up the permissions with your computer sometimes.
Oh man.
Here, I'll send. How about I send you the link in the chat?
Yeah. Hey, actually, can you?
Yeah.
If he sends it to you, can you pull it up?
Yeah. Yeah, this is
man.
great. You guys are gonna love this.
Crazy times, dude.
All right, it's in the chat.
Yeah, this was. I remember this. This was one of those things going around back during the wall days. That was just mind blowing.
Revelation of the method is real.
Oh my
Old
God.
school too.
Joe Rogan wore the sweatshirt that I gave him.
Nice.
He wore it on
Awesome.
They
stage.
must love you, bro. You get that blue belt so fast.
Give it to me now. I'm just so busy. I can't make as much as I want to.
The 7 C's is gonna be pissed, dude. I love 7 C's.
Yeah, we all do.
It's cool.
Oh, is that the guy that says everybody's
Yeah, we
on
love
the
him.
payroll?
I gotta get him back on. If I don't get him on soon, I'm gonna be compromised.
Yeah. We just gotta have him on just so he doesn't say we're compromised.
Trackdown, Trump trackdown.
Wait, what is that ad? What was that?
Looks like
Yeah.
peptides.
Oh,
Here we go.
Vaccine ad.
Here we go. Open it. Turn it up. Is there sound?
Yeah, I heard it a moment ago.
Wait. That's strange. Did you? Actually,
yeah,
remember, you gotta
No.
share it.
No, I did.
You gotta share it.
Oh, here.
Got a name?
there it is. There it
That
is.
fits. I bring you a message. A message of great importance. Without my help and knowledge, every one of you will be dead. Sheriff, how long are you going to put up with this? What do you mean? How long are you going to let this con man walk around town? Be careful, son. I can sue you. How about it, Sheriff? When are you going to put the lid on? What for? Well, stealing is stealing, whether you do it with a gun or a mouthful of mealy words. I don't intend to sit here and be insulted, Sheriff. If your people don't want my help, I can go elsewhere.
Wait a minute, Mr. Trump. You don't talk for the rest of us.
Since the sheriff wouldn't stop Trump, Hobie had to find somebody who would. Sheriff Chet Farrow was the gun law in Tulsa, and Judge Clement was the book law.
You hear about Trump? Yes, sir. What are you going to do about him? What do you want me to do? Stop him. From what? From taking the town. Can you prove that that's what he has in mind? Well, it's obvious. But can you prove it? In order to arrest him, the sheriff has to have a charge. And Trump hasn't given him a thing to go on. Well, there's got to be some way to stop him. Well, if there is, I don't know it. It's a funny thing. Sir? When we were kids, we were all afraid of the dark. And we grew up, and we weren't afraid anymore, but it's funny how a big lie can make us all kids again.
A big lie. Holy shit.
Hobie had checked the town. The people were ready to believe. Like sheep, they ran toward the slaughterhouse. Wow. And waiting for them was the high priest of fraud.
I am the only one. Just me. I can build a wall around your homes that nothing will penetrate. What do we do? How do we save ourselves? You ask, how do you build that wall? You ask, and I'm here to tell you. You're a liar, Trump. Aren't you going to stay for the fireworks? I've done all I can for Talpa. Figure it's time for me to be moving on. Well, I think you ought to wait. It's where you and I disagree. You're under arrest, Trump. What charge? Well, you write it any way you like.
What happened?
Grand theft, fraud. I think a jury will find it stealing.
Okay, dude.
That's crazy.
If that happened today, you would think that was AI. You'd be like, oh, they made that up.
Yeah. 1957.
Well, it's also that like, oh, everyone's getting dumber. Look at what people loved back then. And it was like garbage, you know?
Yeah,
So-
well, I mean, remember, there's the video of that, the first film, of the train coming toward like everybody was like freaking out in the theater because they thought they were about to be crushed by a train watching it on there, these famous stories of that. And then you got War of the Worlds. I mean, yeah. People weren't
Naive.
like savvy back then.
Yeah, they could do Long Division, but they didn't realize it was a movie. It's like this weird thing.
It is strange.
Kids can't do math. Well, I've never used long division in my life and I'm 52.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like data changes. It's just data change. Like you got these fucking Chinese. They're like, oh, X times Z times a billion, blah, blah, blah. And they could do it, but they can't create. They're like autistic idiot. I mean, so. It's crazy, dude. It's crazy. Guys, great show. Brad, did you get out where they can find you?
It's Freedom Act Radio on X. There's a link in bio. Propaganda Report on any podcast listening app. Propaganda Fight is my website. Patreon.com/propaganda report. Prop report on locals, Rockfen. And a final heartwarming message. It relates to what Austin says. There's a book called The of the Mind.
Oh, good.
Very hard. Thanks, Brad.
The Psychology of Thought Control, Menticide, and Brainwashing. It's from 1956.
Dude, it's gonna be beep, beep, beep.
Written by a psychoanalyst, and like Menticide, it's organized. It's organized thought control. It's psychological form of genocide, where a powerful group manipulates and perverts the minds of the victim to transfer their own. Wow. I have the book. I've read it. It is. It's extraordinary.
This is a 20-minute ending on the show.
Yeah, that's a long.
It's like broken simulation.
Yeah.
Dude.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Great show, guys. Let's break it down. All right. What'd you guys think, Austin and Brad?
Dude, why don't you just tell us a computer was coming on?
Yeah. I mean, it was a machine. He's a machine. They're both machines. They're both well versed in everything they bring. It's so funny. It's like, I did Rogan. He's like, what's the source? I'm like, it should just be Austin and Brad. My friend Austin, my friend Brad.
Dude, that video of that Nobel laureate is maybe the most infuriating thing I've ever seen.
I don't know how you interview him and don't go nuts. Like, I couldn't finish the interview. I'd be like, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah, I mean, you defenestrate the guy, throw him out a window, right? Just like...
Yeah, they wanted it. It's like gross, dude. And that's just how they think, and they're all the same.
And he's belligerent about it. Like I'm tired of arguing this. I'm right. I love diddling kids,
I mean, just lose it, dude. Just lose it. Just lose it. I mean, it's just crazy. And then that whole Destiny stuff. He's a piece of shit.
He's dead, by the way, that guy. We should dig him up and piss on him.
Well, like I was saying that about Netanyahu. It's like he might die at the end of this. And I go, I don't care. Dig him up, put his corpse on trial, just the same way that they did with the Pope. You remember when they tried a dead corpse?
Oh, they did?
Yeah, they dug up a Pope and they tried him.
Oh, I did not. Whoa.
Yeah, they should do that with Netanyahu as he tries to get out of it. But again, it's like, how deep down the rabbit hole do you got to go? And then you got this idiot Mike Tracy over here trying to tell us about pedopanic when we just did 2 hours of like, it's systematic, you idiot. You dumbass.
What a pedopanic? Is that like satanic panic?
Yeah, that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to
say it's equivalent.
Yeah, he's saying it's equivalent, that people are losing their mind on this shit. And then I just listed like 10 different cases of
who is saying that again?
Mike Tracy.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, he's a journalist. And in the past, he had some really good work. But again, it just gets into this thing where, like, you get the call and you got to go fully retarded.
So, okay, they have something on them. Some blackmail, right? Obviously.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, because you have
Could
to
be an idiot.
No, I don't know. I'm not going to say that. I can't say they have that on them. I don't know what it is.
But you would assume when you turn around so crazy.
No, I wouldn't assume necessarily that.
Some people are just so contrarian.
Or some people are getting paid money. Or he he realizes that at some point that he is getting artificially pushed in front of everybody. Because it's about, everything's about reach. Right? It's like, you always have these people, they say, run Hollywood, right? We know who I'm talking about. And now that Hollywood's dying, how are they going to promote their own? Well, it's going to be through reach. who's allowed to be seen and who is not. And that's the whole thing. It's like, who is pushed to the front of everybody's timeline, everybody's front page on YouTube? That's what's going on.
I should change my name, huh? John Woodardstein.
Yeah, Woodard Steinberg.
Nice.
They just go really hard into it.
Try that.
Woodard Steinberg Cohen.
Give that a shot.
Just every kind of last name, just keep it going.
Yeah.
Right?
Rabbi.
I mean, that's what it's all about, dude. So it's just absolutely ridiculous, and it's an awful hill to die on. It's an awful hill to die on.
Any hill's an awful hill to die on, but especially that one.
I mean, protecting kids, that's a hill I'll die on, right? I mean, that's a hill.
I'm just saying nobody wants to die, but I get. I'm just being.
Johnny's so afraid of death. It's so hilarious.
It's hilarious. I mean, that you think it's normal not to be afraid of death. Everybody's afraid of death.
I don't think everybody's afraid of death.
Most people, by far. Because this thing, anytime I ask people on Twitter, I'm like, is he right? And everybody's like, I don't know what he's talking about.
Okay. Well, I think if you don't understand the life cycle, you're afraid of death. Now, do you want to die a horrible death? No. But the notion of like your time is up, it's time to go.
Right,
Like-
but it's the fear of the unknown. That's what it is. Because you don't know what's going to happen next, and it's just like going into a dark
What if
room.
none happens? You just go dark.
That sounds worse than almost. I mean, there are many things that's worse than that are existing.
Johnny, show me someone living their best life at 130. They just like that.
Right, but we have the technology again.
Okay.
It's getting better.
Great.
Okay, so you would, if you could, Johnny, you would kind of live forever.
As long as in the Bible we're commanded your body's a temple, you got to take care of your body, right? And so to me, the natural extension of that is to extend your life as long as you can by taking care of yourself as we're commanded.
Yeah, but you don't think eventually, like, let's say we could do 500 years. You don't think eventually you'd be like, I did everything. Like, I've done it all. Like, what more do I need?
No, that's a lack of imagination. Yeah.
Johnny, what if you're the only one that's allowed to live and everybody you love is gone?
I will miss them.
Fucking Johnny.
It's unbelievable.
Somebody needs to be around to remember him.
No.
It'll be me.
That means he's going to run tinfoil by himself.
Yeah.
I used to remember when...
You remember when Sam was a host 200 years ago?
Oh, I was going to say I'd be your Oligny. Just holding the torch for you.
You know what's really crazy, dude, is I heard that there's this company that's interested in like Cash Daddies and getting ads on Cash Daddies, and they now have AI that will do the reads in our voices.
No, we're not doing that, right?
No, but I'm not saying we're doing it. But how crazy is that?
That's creepy. Oh no, people do it all the time. Yeah, I mean there's a guy on YouTube I know who he has whole videos. He's one of these like financial analysts that he just types the script out and it reads it in his voice, and people don't even know it. But he's talked about it. This guy, he does whole videos.
So you remember basically the AI voice that does every like conspiracy video?
Well, it's yeah. I know. You're talking about that kind of black sounding like Morgan Freeman almost like a.
No. It's another one. But my question is, are you? Oh, you're bringing up the Will Smith?
Did you saw the Will Smith AI crowd shit that he did? It's wild.
This one, they're saying this is all crowds.
All crowds?
Yeah,
what do you mean it's all crowds?
Like, I mean, it's all AI, that those people out there are all AI.
You can see more fingers than there are people on some of these because AI can't do fingers. But that's all. You really think Will Smith can do a concert like that?
Yeah, I do think Will Smith could do a concert like that. Will Smith was huge. Yeah.
Maybe if he runs on stage while another band is playing.
Like, dude, granted, I played a gay bar in Jacksonville. That's not that big of a room. It's really like Matt Rife is playing bigger rooms than that.
Yeah, but there are kids there and stuff.
Look, that looks all fake. Like, look.
It's hard to tell, though. There are a lot of things. Wait,
and then one of them says
the girl from Broad City?
Okay, Johnny,
look at those
fake.
fingers.
Look at that guy's face, and then no one will ever say you helped me survive cancer.
Yeah, but how are you gonna fake? I mean, you're gonna get
I mean, it's possible.
There's an unreal feeling to this for sure. It's got an unnatural sheen that suggests AI. But
well, I'm just telling you, dude. People are about to get over this shit, and maybe that's the purpose of AI is to run people off the internet.
They could have intercut AI. You know, it's also possible, and I would actually wager that this could be it. It was low quality footage that they upscaled. Some of it was that they upscaled it to 4K.
Okay. Anyways, guys.
Yeah, really exciting.
This is the longest. No. But it's we should do it on the other show because this is already the longest show
that's
ever.
a good thumbnail. With
That's
the skull.
a great thumbnail.
That's cool. I don't know why you're shushing us. Why are you shushing us?
Because he takes it from the Conspiracy Social Club thumbnails and reuses them.
Okay. You can't talk about skulls, bitch.
Yeah. SamTripoli.com. Go to my dates, dude. And go to my dates. I got some great dates coming up. I will be, at the time this drops, I will be in Kansas City, everybody. I'll be in Kansas City. I already did a great Thursday, packed it out then. Then Friday and Saturday, the greatest time of my life. They're going to be great shows. Grab your tickets now. Chicago, Illinois, Ventura, California, Tulsa, Oklahoma. We got more dates coming. We got Oklahoma City. We got Austin, Texas. I'm doing the Fat Man. Come out and hang and bang. New Orleans for Skank Fest. And then Vegas is the big one I want to push right now. November 21st, which is a Friday night, we are doing the Virgin Hotel. Okay, it's going to be myself. I mean, are you going to come, Johnny?
Yeah, Johnny's coming.
I would like to go to the football game, for sure. Yeah,
okay.
And I want to see you guys, obviously.
We'll figure it out.
But yeah,
we'll
that
figure
hotel's
it out.
fantastic. I've been there many times.
We have XG will be there.
This looks like a huge, nice, amazing room.
Yeah, I played it before with the Naughty Show. It's really great. So Friday night's going to be the tinfoil hat comedy night.
Couple really good restaurants in that hotel.
And then, some really great stuff. And then Sunday night, we're going to the Raiders versus the Browns game. So go check that out. Minneapolis. And then finally, it looks like I'm going to be doing New Year's at the Dojo of Comedy. That will be next. That's not up yet, so I will put that out. Check out the premium content. Just like I said, I do shows with these guys who do whatever this is. And if you like this, that's every episode. Deep Conspiracy Rewinds. I'm going to start doing a premium content show with Kurt Metzger.
Ooh.
Oh, another show. Wow.
Well, it's just I have to do 3 on Sam Tripoli because you're paying a little bit more. So I put 3 out there.
No,
so that will be one of the 3.
What is he putting on his premium content?
Yeah, I think that's going to be the new style that I invented again, which is everyone do premium content together and just put it on your premium content on our own. So, Oh, by the way, that scandal right there, I think your name is Vicky Pez or something like that. She got murdered by a guy that didn't remember doing it.
Ooh.
And they say the
How many people you gotta
timeline,
kill? You don't even remember.
Right?
and the timeline in which she was killed, and then he went to the cops. They said it was too short a time, so they probably killed her, and then they walked him right into the police station. And he was like, I just murdered somebody, and he doesn't remember any of it. Cash Daddies, talk about it.
How he is, killing it. It's.
Ooh,
the market took a little downturn, and he
still
had
banked.
some
Still banked. Yeah. Again, he loves putting the things in there.
He's just watching it. Though,
He's just watching
NVIDIA.
Okay.
I mean, who isn't watching NVIDIA though?
That's a great point. Anyways, go back, guys. I really want you guys to take a look at my Chaos Twins is coming out. I'm so excited about that. Chaos Twins is coming out. It's going to be we're finishing it up right now. So grab your second issue, and then finally, t-shirts. Can you go to t-shirts? I want to see what new ones he put up. If he put up any of the new ones, click it.
Come on,
click it or ticket.
Ooh.
Oh, PSYOP season. PSYOP season takes no days off. It's up and available now. Only $20, dude. We're cheap. PSYOP season takes no days off. That's now available. And then the Wood Army. Grab your Wood Army right now. That's such a great shirt.
It really is.
It's such a great shirt. Wood Army. It's great.
Do you think a girl will ever see that shirt and we know exactly what the shirt means? Be like, he would.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure some would laugh about it.
He would.
And then go back. I want to tell you about our good friends at Chemical Free Body. I grab my supplements every day there. Every day. I take them all the time. It's like anything you need to survive. It's all right there. Saunas, water purifying apparatuses. I love it. I love their Alpha Energy. That's one of my favorite things. So go check it out, dude. Bang. It's the best. And then our good friends at Buy Gold and Silver. That's right. Go to samtripoli.gold, grab the promo code and tinfoil and get in on the Press Metals game for as little as $50 a month. Anything else, boys?
Hit that like button in this hat, this NPC hat, fullytoxic.com. Go get it. I only have a couple left. Go get it.
Okay, and then Johnny?
Yeah, we just did a Broken Sim. If you want to hear Sam live open package that he thinks is just a fan package that turns out to be like, what would you say, a proposition for sex, then you can check out the latest Broken Sim. That should be out now.
Shoot your shot, player. Shoot your shot.
It was so funny.
It was a dude?
No, it was a woman. It was a woman, but he thought we were just reading like a fan letter or something.
Place,
and it was like, yeah, just put down where you'll meet me. And
yeah, I'll be there. And I appreciate her for doing that.
I do too, yeah.
You know, and again, here's this again, the YouTube situation is constantly changing. We now have Tinfoil Hat Official. Okay, as we said earlier, Tinfoil Hat Official, and that is the fan.
Well, it's Tinfoil Hat with Sam Tripoli is probably what you would search. But the at
there it is. There it is.
Official.
So
upside down now.
Yeah, Tinfoil Hat Official.
Yeah,
that
look
is
for the upside down tinfoil hat.
Yeah,
logo.
that is our channel that we just took over. You're going to be getting every single new episode there, and then Tinfoil Hat YouTube. That will be where we will be putting old episodes and clips up.
Maybe should we change that to Tinfoil Hat clips? Maybe or something
probably.
like that.
Yeah.
Tinfoil Hat highlights, something like that.
Or the bank.
So that's where that's going to be going. We appreciate the fan, who is a very feisty guy on the internet. We appreciate him giving us the YouTube.
Yeah, he's a solid dude. He was easy to work
Solid
with.
dude.
Yeah.
We love him.
He helped us out a lot in transitioning this. He was very patient with me, like while we had because I had to send him a million codes.
He basically
verify.
saved us.
Yes.
Because we couldn't post on YouTube. So he did it for us, and
God bless him.
We're very thankful. So again, if they're gonna find it, Johnny, it's youtube.com at Tinfoil Hat Official.
Yeah, /at Tinfoil. At Tinfoil Hat Official. Let me confirm that.
Yep, Tinfoil Hat Official. I got it right there.
Okay,
yep,
so how that
right
works.
there.
Okay.
It's dumb they make you put the at in there, but yeah, that's how it works.
All right, guys, enjoy the highlight.
Here's a clip from the latest Broken Sim.
Mark Maron's on a being a dick tour. Have you noticed this?
Yeah.
He's just going around just spraying everybody.
Well,
What's
it's
his
a
problem, man?
promotion thing that he wants progressives to watch his special, so he knows they all hate the Tree of Rogan, so he just goes out. It's the same thing Anthony Jeselnik did. They just know it's a great promotional thing, so everybody who hates those guys will run to it. And there's all these videos on YouTube about how that comedy is dying. Oh, the Rogans are dying, and they're all playing arenas. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, I mean, his quote, when we talked about it briefly before, but this is from Vox today. His quote is, I think if Hitler was alive today, he'd probably appear on Theo Von's podcast, which is, it's a joke.
Mark Maron had Obama on after he illegally assassinated Muammar Gaddafi and caused open-air slave trades, and is the reason why Europe is being flooded with migrants right now. They needed to clear out that area so they can just get him to go through. Then, and this is driving me effing nuts right now, he also had Hunter Biden on, who is like pictured with his dead brother's daughter in the bedroom, okay?
Oh,
and it was taking money from the Ukraine where child S stuff is happening. I mean, what are we talking about? This whole thing right now where all these leftists are going nuts talking about fascism. Like, where were you guys when Joe Biden was sending the FBI to Board of Education meetings to harass parents? Where were you then? Where were you then when Joe Biden was talking about it's going to be a dark winter if you don't get you know? And he was basically they were calling for people to be excommunicated from society. Like, where were you guys? Where were you guys when the Biden administration, along with the intelligence agencies, were going to these social media platforms and censoring people who weren't promoting the propaganda? Where were you guys? Like, get out of here, dude. I'm not, again, and the people going nuts on Trump and what he's doing in Washington, D.C., I totally get that. But just know Washington, D.C. is not a part of the United States. It's a sovereign territory, everybody. Okay? That's why they did in Washington, D.C. It's actually ridiculous. It's like you guys have owned television forever. The progressive lefts have captured television And the conservative rights own the internet. And that's why they're losing their mind, because they can't take that dog crap from the television and put it on the internet because nobody wants to watch it. I mean, stop telling me that people are stop getting political. I can't stand comedians like comedy's getting too political. Dude, the progressive left have inserted politics into every single thing. We had kid shows where they're trying to push LBDGGKYJXX double minus plus multiply into everything. What are you talking about? Show me an Apple TV that doesn't have 1,000 non-binaries in it. I was just watching Silo last night, watching a non-binary ethnic beat up guys. It makes no sense. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. I watched that movie Ballerina, the new John Wick ballerina movie, and it's Ana de Armas, who might weigh 100 pounds, just beating the hell out of everybody.
It's just absolutely ridiculous.
And they have this line in the movie. They say, "Fight like a girl" in the movie, and she's just kicking the ass of like these hired hitmen who weigh like 225 pounds. So stupid.
It's so dumb, dude. It's so dumb.
It's not a bad movie,
and it's just like, I mean, like, yeah, there's a couple. Usually when I tee off on comics, it's because they've gone after other comics, like Amy Schumer. What she did to Brian Callen was absolutely disgusting.
Well, Mark has gone after other comics, to be clear. I mean,
yeah, I mean, like, it's just a marketing ploy. And I'm just going to say this one more time to everybody. Watch out for going after people on the internet, because they'll come after you. I've seen it happen 1,000 times. That guy from Channel 5, who is an awesome editor, he does those really great. He'll go to like the Insane Clown Posse, what's those called? The Juggalos, and he'll do great edits with that. Well, he started getting super woke because they sent him to do the January 6th stuff, right? They sent him to cover that. Well, guess what happened to him? He got Me Too'd.
That's hilarious. Really?
Like, dude, they'll throw you right under the bus. Like, they'll throw you in the trash like a Dixie cup.
Yeah,
it's absolutely ridiculous.
God, it's 101 degrees outside right now. So we've got a few more super chats here if you want to hit those. But yeah, Marin, I mean, he's just a hypocrite, dude. He's just a hypocrite. He sucks. I used to really like him too in his comedy.
I love him. He's a very underrated comedian, but it's like, dude, what are you doing? It's like, what are you doing, dude? I mean, you literally said things are better without podcasting. You and I both know you wouldn't be where you were without podcast.
Oh, dude, nobody know who he. I mean, he'd be back on Air
he'd be
America
still
or
doing
whatever.
Conan O'Brien, even after it got canceled.
Just showing up in an empty theater, talking
Yeah,
to
he's
nobody.
like, here's another 5 minutes about my cats.
Oh, his cat.
I think he's great. I mean, that show he's on Stick, he's perfect for that show. But it's like, dude, it's also this thing where I watched this thing last night, Johnny. I talked about this. It's on my premium content, right?
Yeah.
And it's Esoteric Guardian. They do absolutely amazing content. And there was one part of this video I didn't agree with, and I'll get into that in 2 seconds. But it breaks down the actual story of Pinocchio. And Pinocchio didn't ask to be born. Pinocchio is sent into, this world with rules. Okay. He wasn't created to be free. He was created to follow rules, which is the whole thing is like they're saying that's about birth. And that when you step outside of the game or the rules, you get punished by society. And that's part of Pinocchio's story. And it basically gets into that eventually Pinocchio realizes if he just plays the game, he'll get treated better. And that's why he becomes a boy at the end. And you're starting to see a lot of these guys who everyone's going woke, who were really savages back in the day, rallying against the machine. It's like at some point when they get older, they realize playing the game is much easier. And they get more cash and prizes when they do it. And I think that's what you're seeing with a lot of these guys. Now, they're probably smart. No, they're not pay pigs. Pay pigs are the real ones, dude. But I think that's what it is. They made their bones on being an outsider, and then they get in, they realize if you just play the game, there's a lot more cash and prizes in it. So they start, pushing
how do you square that with your view of, that your father kind of handed down to you of not begrudging anybody making a buck?
Well, I mean, what are you saying is that somebody has a business and they're charging maybe somebody you a little bit more than you hate. You can't get mad at them. And I don't get mad at these guys. You can do whatever you want. I'm saying stop shutting the door behind you.
Yeah.
Like me, I'm off feet for this little run. I plan on running as long as I can. If you have somebody out there who does that, who watches it or does comedy shows with them, I'm never going to fault them. Because I did that. I understand that. That's my biggest problem with a lot of these guys. There's a lot of dudes coming out of New York City who I love.
If you'd like to hear the rest of this episode, subscribe to Broken Simulation in your podcasting app or check us out at youtube.com/Sam Tripoli.
Welcome back to #1 podcast in the world. We got a stack-packed week for you guys. I went to Vegas. I did the Sphere. Should you go to the Sphere? Should you go to Burning Man or not? And we go over the Lil Nas X scandal. What the is going on? Did he OD? Did he not OD? And just to end it, does Chili condone cheating? Yes or no? Put the camera on you. There it is, guys. You'll know. Let's get straight into it, guys. This is episode number 12. XG marks the spot. Here you guys go. You saw the orgy dome go down?
Orgy dome?
So Burning Man has an orgy dome.
Uh-huh.
And I guess the winds took it down.
What?
But they're trying to bring it back before the festival's over. So they're asking people if they have like little extra tents.
What is an orgy?
Orgy. Come on, really? Orgy dome, like a dome, like a tent, a big tent with people go and do orgies.
Yeah, I didn't know. It's like self-explanatory.
Let me see. I had just seen the video. Maybe I could send it to you.
But I mean,
real
like,
fast.
don't they burn like a guy at the end or something?
Yeah, on Sunday.
Can they do that with it all windy and stuff?
Well, I mean, I don't really know right now. I hope so.
How many days is it? Is it 2 weekends?
It's supposed to be 2 weekends.
Nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday. And right now, you can save £50 per person. That's £200 off for a family of...
Remember our EDC Windy Day?
Yeah.
That was pretty bad, though. I'm not saying it was as bad as this. I'm not even saying it was as bad as this, but it was up there.
This would hurt.
Is insane. This would hurt.
Because it's just sand. Do you want to see that conspiracy guy?
Oh, that conspiracy guy.
I didn't watch this one, to be honest, so I don't know like what he's saying, but I'll play it.
Let me see.
Hold on.
Are y'all seeing what's happening at Burning Man and also Arizona? Idols are being burnt down. This gets deep because Burning Man is quite literally going back to human size. Look at this massive dust storm that's hitting Arizona and obviously Burning Man in Nevada. Now let me ask you this, is there any possible coincidence to the fact that this is happening to Burning Man, but also Tomorrowland also burnt down a few months ago? Now this video is not about Tomorrowland, you can go back and watch the video I did on this, showing y'all just how demonic it is, what's in their stage, and also what's coming out the smoke. And fast forward to now, we're having a huge dust storm at Burning Man. Also, I believe 2 years ago, there was another massive storm where people were stranded and could not even leave. I wonder why all this chaotic stuff happens to Burning Man. I'm about to show you how Burning Man is an idol. Not just an idol.
Oh my god. I don't even know what to say. The guys are like screaming outside. Things are flying around. It sounds like a zombie apocalypse.
So y'all are basically saying it sounds chaotic, right? I'd like y'all to meet the Wicker Man. The ancient Celtics would gather people together and even go as far as to charge people with false crimes so they could burn them alive in a stick figure, always aimed to look like a man. And they would appease their gods with the people they chose or charged with false crimes, and they would burn them and sacrifice. Yes, Pig Latin. Human sacrifice. Oh, also animals were included in the humans in the Wicker Man. And this right here is exactly what Burning Man is based on. Crazy, right? Also, they're very near to the ley line where Crowley was summoning demons. You know, the Babylon working to the Moonchild ritual. All these festivals are nothing more than pagan, occultic rituals. What do you think about this? Have you been to any pagan occultic rituals? Let me know in the comments. I remember my dad telling me about Ozfest back in the 90s, and he saw literal demons, real demons walking around in the crowds. And I'd be willing to bet that me as well as y'all have some similar stories. Let's hear them.
Calm down.
What do you mean, calm down? Calm down. Calm down.
The demon story at the end. Those girls are still really pretty to be covered in dirt.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, they're both getting it.
You think that they're in the orgy tent?
Huh?
Do you think they're in the orgy tent? Like girls like that, or you think it's like
I don't know what to think about the girls at Burning Man. Like I don't know. I don't know if they'd be real slutty because they're very spiritual. So maybe it's like you have to
They probably smell a little.
but
Those girls were really pretty. I mean, she had like.
You also need a lot of money.
True.
I think it's at least. I mean, I don't think you could go out there without at least dropping at least $1,000.
Way more than that.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like the least. Like if you're a hot chick, the least is $1,000. Like I don't know how even on just outfits.
Yeah.
Like it's at least $1,000. I would say between 1,000 to 10 racks.
I get you.
Yeah, but there's no way you're going out there for free at all. Even then.
Yeah.
No, but
that would be. That's why I'm like, I don't even want to risk it. Like I'll do the second day because the second day doesn't matter camping, but I don't want to do the first day.
Well,
only because like day trip is just fun. I just want to hang out with you guys and like be out. But this one I actually care about the lineup. So
I know you're all excited about all the dubstep. Who you excited to see? Let me in on some dubstep.
I don't know off the top of my head. I gotta.
Go deep, homeboy. Aaron, open your mind. Drink from the fountain of knowledge. There's lizard people everywhere. That's some interdimensional shit. Wake up, Aaron.
This is only the beginning.
Dude, you just blew my mind.
Tinfoil hat.